Okay, hello and welcome to 50 Shades of Wealth. Step up your game, step into 2015. I am Barrett Matthews of E2E Systems. We have a star-studded lineup today. We expected to have with us Alexis Lior talking about a 90-day game plan for 2015, and Chris Bridges talking about credit, getting your credit straight for 2015. Alexis will not be able to be with us today. The holidays have got her caught up today, but I'm sure she's doing some great things for some other people. And Chris Bridges had a prior engagement today. She may be able to join us a little later on if it finishes early, so we hope she can. But we have with us today Renee Sunday, who is going to blow your mind this morning. And we have also Mr. Klarque Garrison, who is going to show you some things you can jump into 2015 doing. And coming on later, we have the lady herself, Miss Allyson Byrd, who is going to show you guys how to make some money because she's done it for so many people before. So I want to make sure I take this time to introduce to you the two panelists we have with us so far who are going to present and blow your mind. Miss Renee Sunday, who's going to talk to you about how to move from the rearview mirror to the windshield. Are you down with PFF? How you doing, Renee?
Hi, how's everybody doing?
I love Renee. Renee is such a ball of energy, man. Klarque, you know why we got her to start
off. Oh, man, I got to go get some more coffee.
Renee said that a few. How many cups have you had, Renee?
Just one.
Just one? Because look, when we first were testing everything out, she said she had to go get some more coffee, so I figured she had more than one. That's why I said that. And Klarque Garrison, he's going to talk to us about why you need your own radio show. As you know, Klarque is the founder of Survival Radio Network, and as you can see, he's got his banner back there, his radio mic. He doesn't have a mic like the rest of us. He got his radio mic there. How you doing, Klarque?
Hey, man, we're in the war room, so, you know, you got to be prepared at all times.
Okay, prepared in the war room. Oh, wow, we're at war. Okay. I'm excited about that. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm Barrett Matthews of E2E Systems. I'm going to be talking to you about profits through your productivity through action and activity. So we're going to make sure that all gets going on as well. As you know, as Klarque is with Survivor Radio Network, I do a show with Chris Bridges, who we hope will be on today, called Lunch and Learn with Chris and Barrett on Survivor Radio Network. It's Fridays at noon. So we want you all to definitely tune into that. But what we're going to do is we're going to get this party started. One of the reasons that we did this 50 Shades of Wealth Hangout is because we want to make sure that everyone knows that going into 2015, you got to do something different unless you want to end up the way you did in 2014. I want to make sure that people understand that if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to end up at the end of 2015 with the same results that you are right now. And you'll be saying, gosh, I wish I had done this, I wish I had done that. So you have to change some things. If you have wanted to do your own radio show, then you're at the right place. If you want to do some things to get yourself from the rear view to the windshield, you're in the right place. If you want to turn your productivity into profits, you're in the right place. If you want to just make more money, you're in the right place. But you have to change. You can't stay the same. So you got to be willing to make a change. Is it going to be uncomfortable? Yes. Yes. We are not sugarcoating anything here today. It's going to be uncomfortable. But someone told me a long time ago that success and comfort don't mix. You can't name anybody in history that got successful being comfortable. You had to get uncomfortable at some point. I want to give, before we start off with Renee, I want to give our two people here, Renee and Klarque, a chance to just sum up, you know, what they think about this event going into 2015 and what they expect people to get out of this event. Renee?
Well, yes, Barrett, I just thank you so much for this opportunity to just be one of your panelists. I got the sun beaming on me, so the most important thing we want to make sure is people realize that they are the light. They have light to share to everybody, and this awesome event will give you tools and strategies and secrets that you can put in place right now to be able to move forward and be successful in 2015. So thank you, Barrett, for this vision. Thank you that you care about us, that we actually will move forward with success in the next year.
All right, Mr. Garrison.
Well, Barrett, I'm just excited to be a part of 50 Shades of Wealth, man. I think it's the perfect vehicle to bring on a series of I call it speakers. Not all of us are speakers, but we'll say speakers just for the moment, who will disseminate their specific information to an audience at no cost. That's the beauty of this, because we all know that attached to wealth is information. And so you're going to get a ton of information today. I'm excited about where this is going. And 2015 is going to blow your socks off if you have the proper information. If you don't, it's just going to be a repeat of the same old thing.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Renee, are you there? Okay, there you go. I lost your video there for a second. I want to make sure you're still with us. Okay, because we're ready to get this thing kicked off now. Klarque and Renee summed it up perfectly. We're going to get it kicked off. Renee Sunday is our first speaker, and as I said earlier, she's going to tell you how to move from the rearview mirror to the windshield. So are you down with PFF? So Renee, we're going to turn it over to you so you can show us how to be down with PFF.
Well, thank you. Mic check, mic check. You still hear me, Barrett?
We hear you loud and clear.
All right. Well, we have our wonderful slides up, and we just thank you, the 50 Shades of Wealth. Again, I really, really, truly thank Barrett for taking just having the time that he believes in helping other people. Because so many people say, yes, they are successful. Yes, they are making all this money, but they don't want to share with anybody else. So we thank you, Barrett, for actually helping other people with this awesome event, the 50 Shades of Wealth. And we're going to just dive right on into this, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more. This is what we're going to talk about, how to move from the rear mirror to the windshield. Now, people say, that's kind of long. What are you really talking about, Dr. Renee Sunday? But my thing is, we have for so long, many of us, all of us, have looked in the rearview mirror and said, okay, my past, the obstacles, struggles, the things that I've been through, I don't like them. I don't like what I've been through. 2014 was not good. Everybody running around talking about they blessed, that they got all this money, 6 figures, 7 figures, but that wasn't in my backyard. That is not what I had going on. I made a failure after failure, but guess what? We don't need to worry about that, because today you will get secrets, strategies, and tools that you actually can move from viewing the rear view mirror to the windshield. Now, when you drive now, you got to look at the rear view mirror, though, for just to see what's going on, for protection of driving, going from one place to another. But we just want to let you know, when you look at the rear view mirror, isn't that very small, what you're looking? You are looking in just a piece of your past. But just when you look at the windshield, it is big, it is huge, it does not have any limits whatsoever. And that's what we want to point out today, because you do not have any limits, you do not have any, when it says 0, that's not what you're going to have. When it says failure, you're not going to have a failure. Okay, we do have things that don't go our way, let me just put that out there, but guess what? We do learn from that. We actually know that's part of the process. I've actually heard Donald Trump say, let's just get these failures out the way so we can actually get to the success. He says that all the time, and we need to actually do that as well. We actually, not as I think Donna McClurkin says, we fall down, but we got to get up, okay? We have to realize that we have to, I'm going to say it at least 3 times. Don't stop, get it. We have to make sure that we actually stand on the course of what we need to do. And are you down with PPF? People want to know what are you talking about, Dr. Renee Sunday? But let me tell you, here we go. Oh, wait, let me go back. Hold on, I got a story for you. My team put that slide in there. I told them not put the. So I have a story to tell you right quick. Okay, I want to introduce you to this young lady. She grew up in the inner city, and now we know what the inner city is. We know this young lady grew up with mom and dad, a Christian background. She actually didn't know what the inner city was until she was in the 11th grade, and a guy told her, a fellow classmate said, you know you live in the hood. And she looked at him at amazement. Like, what are you talking about? I don't stay in no hood. And she went home and talked to her parents about it. And they said, baby, yes, we do live in what they consider low poverty. Meaning that, you know, we have all these statistics, high out of wedlock, this and that, high different diseases, different cancers, saying that we won't be successful in our career. Yes, that's what they say. But let me tell you, this is what her mom was speaking. What have we told you ever since you was a little baby in the womb? And the girl just looked at her mom and dad. Well, Mom, I know you always tell me that I'm beautiful, that I'm more, I can do whatever I put my mind to, that I am more than a conqueror. You always say that. But guess what? The mom said, yes, we have always told you that. We've always told your sister and your brother that you could do whatever you put your mind to, that you always have to have perseverance, you can't stop, you can't give up. You cannot listen to what the politicians say. You cannot listen to what people say on different print media. You can't listen to what people say even in your class. And the little girl said, okay, Mom, I am happy again now because I know that I can do whatever I put my mind to. This young lady was just happy, but you know what? Her mom did take her aside after they were talking. But she said, you know, we proud of you, that you've always been a great reader. You always wanted to do your work. You always wanted to go the extra mile. So now we know we got another picture here. This young lady was in a circumstance, what you can say, or situation. Yes, she lived in poverty, but her mentality was not that. She actually knew she could do whatever she put her mind to. She knew the value of reading. She knew the value of research. Well, let me fast forward just a little bit. Guess what? She went on to high school, and let me tell this fact. She actually graduated the top of her elementary school, the top of her middle school, and was class valedictorian. Guess what? Of a high school. She went on with a scholarship to college. She actually went on past that and went to secondary, graduate school, professional school after that, and she actually graduated the top class of that. The reason I'm telling this story is I want you to realize is even though you're in a situation, even though you say, okay, my past, that rearview mirror don't look good whatsoever, but guess what? Your mindset, you get your mind right, guess what? The body will follow. If you actually get in your mind that you can do it, you can. I just want to let people know who this young lady is. That was me. I am the platform builder. I am a speaker. I'm an author. I'm an anesthesiologist. I'm going to tell you, that's putting people to sleep and waking them up. I have to do both. And I am the host and the founder of Good Deeds Radio and Television Show. My motto is we have to don't stop, get it. We have to. I came from what they said was the hood. Yes, everybody had the statistics going on about me, Renee Sunday. But guess what? I persevere. I want to let you know if I did it, you can do it as well. You have to remember, I'm going to say it at least 2 more times in this conversation. Don't stop. Get it. You have to realize that gleam that's in my eye on this picture, that you have the same gleam as well. You have everything you need inside of you, guess what, right now. Yes, we have to perfect those things. We have to make those things, nurture them, and make them better. We have to put water on them, just like we do a flower, to let it bloom out. Now, this is what we got to get to. Are you down with PPL? Okay, I have several different sentences, cliches, however you want to say what that means. We got to pushing passionately forward. Wherever you right now, we have to move forward. We are not going to look in that rearview mirror again to feel down. what they say, beat up and disgusted. I can't. We got to push forward. We have to push forward. Because let me tell you, everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a calling. Everybody has a reason that you are here. Guess what? Right now. It's a reason that you are not going on to heaven. You have a part of this plan to help somebody else. And I always tell people, guess what? When you in your purpose, guess what? You helping somebody else get to their purpose. The piece of the pie, everybody has a piece of the pie. No competition. I don't say that word. I try my best not to say it. But I want to make a point is you have your uniqueness. I have my uniqueness. And let me tell you just a secret. I tried to get that Southern twang out of my voice. I went to voice classes. I went to singing classes. I went to all those kind of classes to get that Southern twang out. But guess what? That's my uniqueness. That's my history, and I am proud of it. And you have to be proud of who you are because you are special. Some people tall, some people short. Okay, all of us have uniqueness. So you know what? I would not make a website. I have people that do that, and I love them dearly. I have people with social media. I have people that promote me. I have to stay in my lane. Stay in your lane. That's what you have to learn to delegate. And I'm being transparent. That's what I had to learn. Wow, that was a big lesson for me because you have to respect people's expertise. I love to motivate people. I love to build a platform to let people know just to reach millions is only one email away, one event away, one person saying something great about you. I know because I have been on Oprah's platform, TD Jakes' platform, Harlem Fine Arts. It's all because people saw that. Don't stop, get it. I used to say that was funny, but you know what? That's true. You can't stop. I need you to be in your purpose. Each of us need each other to be in your purpose. All of us are part of this community, and we are our brothers and sisters keeper. You know, let's go a little further. Perfecting passionately forward. You know, the word of God says, you know, you got to perfect that gift that's inside. You got to stir up the gifts. And I need to let you know, you have to, some people do it through meditation. Some people do it by their different mantras, affirmation, confession. You have to motivate yourself. I start off every day in the morning because that actually set the atmosphere, as my grandmother used to say, of the whole day. You have to motivate yourself because a lot of times, guess what? Everybody have concerns. Everybody have something going on. And you have to be able to be that light that other people will say, this lady, what? She has so much energy. I like being around her. I like, because she stimulates me that I actually can walk in the things that I'm called to, walk in the things that I have a purpose and my passions. So you got to pursue passionately forward. You got to go forward. We're not going back anymore. We're going to just move forward and walk into what we are called to do. We have to do that. Let me just tell you, just you know, I know some people may be driving, but just close your eyes for a second and just envision your passions, the things that makes you stay up at night that you think about, the things that actually make you feel good and have peace at night. I'm going to give you just a second to think that. Most people, when you close your eyes, that's the first thing you think about. You think about the wonderful things that make you feel happy. Now, let's be honest, that may not be where you are right now. But you know what? It's a process. And we're going to press forward starting today. We're not going to feel down. We're not going to feel that we can't do it. We are motivated to move forward passionately. Okay? Moving forward. Now, open your eyes for me. Now, didn't that make you feel good to think about your dreams, your visions, your passions, the reason that you are here right now? You have to share your message with the world. Now, if you write the word message down, guess what? Circle M-E. That's meaning you, me. You actually have If you look up the word sage is actually a person's, it actually means your message, your purpose, the things that you actually stand for in life. But you got to get that out. You cannot keep it inside. I need you. We all need each other, as I said earlier, for you to be in your purpose, because the things you've been through in life will help the next person. I mean, it's different tools we can do. You know, I'm a platform builder. We do things from the radio, television show, teleseminar, webinars. All those things is to help share other people's message to the world. Because before you know it, you're going to look back and say, wow, how did this happen? But guess what? You have to start. You have to start the process. And we are starting it for you here with the wonderful Barrett Matthews with the 50 Shades of Wealth. You got to start somewhere. You got to start with your mind. You got to think positive. And guess what? You know, I'm going to bring my physician side in. If you think positive, it lowers your blood pressure. It actually makes them hormones act right. And guess what? Before you know it, you have a lot of energy and you're able to do the things that you're called to do the things that you have a passion for, you have dreams for, and you have the energy to do it. People say, how do you do all these things? Guess what? When you're in your purpose, things come sweatless. Things are easily achievable. And that's what passion is, the definition of your passion and purpose. Your purpose is things that are easily achievable. Like, again, I would not go out there and try to build a house. That would not work. When you're in your purpose, guess what? You will have the energy, you'll have the drive, you'll have everything you need. You will draw the people that you need. If you need someone to do your website, if you need someone to speak for you, if you need a place to speak on a person's event, if you need a spot on a radio show, you will attract them, because guess what? You're in the right place. You will be in the right place to draw those people, and you will rock it, as we always say. So you have to make sure you're down with PPL. And you know me, you know the song. So you have to be down. You have to be in your purpose. You have to be where you called to. You have to realize that you're here on earth for a reason. You have to realize that. You know, as I come to the close, because they know I can talk a good while. I just love talking. But, you know, I love to enjoy and share with people the things that I've been through, that they can actually help somebody else. You got to step up your game. You got to step into 2015. You got to step into your calling, your purpose, the reason that you are here right now. I mean, because everybody has a reason. I know I say that just a lot, but everybody has the wisdom, the knowledge, and the reason that they are here right now. You know, Google's your best friend. Research. And you'll get the information you need. But if you actually share your information with other people, people will share information with you. Networking is powerful if you share. You have to be a giver, a cheerful giver, and things will naturally come back to you. So you have to make sure you're down with PPL. That's pushing passionately forward, perfecting passionately forward, pursuing passionately forward. You guys, you got to do it. And you know I have to bring the three things that I love to say. You got to believe, you got to trust, and you got to walk it out. You got to believe inside, like the little girl. When I was a little girl, it into me. And it's not too late. If you didn't get that when you was a little girl, here you go right now. You are beautiful. You are wonderfully made. And you can do whatever you put your mind to. I told you, you are mandated from this time forward to walk it out and believe in yourself. Now, you got to trust the process. I mean, you got to trust the process. I got to make sure I say that. Because if you get $1 million right now and you don't have the system in place, that ain't going to work. Because you can't help nobody. If you get the money and you go do some other things, that's not what it's meant to be. So trust the process. Trust the process, okay? It's just like riding a horse. We got to trust the process. And then when you walk it out, guess what? you can actually be a blessing to somebody else. You actually can take the need from somebody else. You can take the basic necessities from somebody else. And that's the reason we in our purpose, not for ourselves. It actually, your purpose, your anointing, your calling is for someone else. Okay, we got to get it. We got it now. We got the wisdom. We got the knowledge, and we just got to walk it out. So again, you got to believe, you got to trust, and you got to walk it out. Here we go. Now, believe, trust, and walk it out. You got to say that all the time. You got to believe it. And you always got to say, I am down with PPF. I am pursuing, I'm perfecting, and I'm going to push passionately forward. We're going to don't stop. We're going to get it. We're going to get our purpose now. We got to get it. You guys, I am Dr. Renee Sunday. I am the platform builder. If you guys are listening, I have not one, but I have 2 gifts for you. Free gifts, okay? Did you get the free? You can go to my website, which is www.reneesunday.com. We actually have a book there that actually will tell you how to identify your purpose. Actually, it will also tell you some steps that you can go through to make sure that's your purpose, because sometimes you can do things very well, but that's not your purpose. I mean, I thought for 13 years my purpose was anesthesia, but guess what now? I found out more. I am here to build other people. I am here to be a platform builder, which I still was doing as an anesthesiologist, but I'm just so glad that I am in my purpose to help you get forward. And you know, 2015 is going to be amazing, because you're going to what? You're going to be down with PPF. Now, the second gift is we're actually having a webinar coming up to let you know, if you're an author, speaker, coach, whatever your message is, to get your message out to the world. We're having a webinar of how to land media exposure. These wonderful guys, they are media personalities as well, but we're going to give you some information to let you know how to get in front of the people that I have had the pleasure of getting in front of them through Good Deeds Radio and Television Show. Now, that website is Be Seen, Be Heard, GetPaid.com. Now, if you forget all those websites, just go to ReneeSunday.com. All that information is there. You know, check me out on the social media networks, which is Renee Sunday. And also we have, let me see, I think on Instagram, I'm Dr. Renee Sunday. But go to the website and you can get all that information. But the most important thing is I want you to do the 3 things again. I want you to believe. I want you to trust. I don't want you to walk it out. I want you to be down with PPF. You're going to pursue, you're going to perfect, and you're going to pursue passionately forward. And I love you, love you, love you. We're going to say it's back to Barrett, and we want to make sure that you come to us if you need us for anything. If you need to be, because Barrett will tell you, he'll jack you up. He'll make sure that you in your business that you're supposed to. Make sure Klarque, he has an awesome platform as well, and also check me out as well. And we're going to help you be successful in 2015. I thank you so much, Barrett, and we're going to say it's back to you.
Man, I am blown away. I'm so pumped up. I'm ready to go run a mile. Hey, Klarque, you ready to go run?
Hey, man, I'm tired. She's too hyper. I mean, I love that energy, man. She makes me feel bad. I got to get ready.
Right, Renee, come back on. Come out off your screen. We want to see you, man. That was phenomenal, Renee. Thank you so much. I mean, that PPF, and I apologize for saying PFF earlier. It's PPF, and that was phenomenal. I mean, you brought it. You set the stage. Now we got to really come strong, Klarque, because wow.
No funny.
Thanks, Renee.
I'm serious, man. I was over here sweating. That was phenomenal, because I mean I love that PPF. You know, the push, perfect, and pursuing all of them passionately. that was just, oh man, I was just blown away. I was blown away. Thank you so much for that, and I hope you guys took advantage of the gifts she's giving. Like, we're giving this is free information, and she's giving free gifts. Klarque brought up earlier that you're getting free information from us, but Renee is giving you all free gifts. Take advantage of what she is giving you, because they say don't look a gift horse in the mouth. You better take advantage of it, because she's giving it to you. We also want to encourage everybody, go to the Facebook group 50 Shades of Wealth. It's a Facebook group, 50 Shades of Wealth. Put in your comments. Make sure you comment what you got from Renee Sunday. Make sure you comment about what you're going to get from Klarque Garrison, what you get from me, what you're going to get from Allyson Byrd later. We want you to make sure you comment about that, and also put in, whenever you comment, hashtag step up your game, because that's what 2015 is about. It's about stepping up your game. It's about moving from that rearview mirror to the windshield. It's just like Renee talked about. We want to make sure that you guys get the most out of this and can benefit going into the new year. So, Renee, I'm blown away by Klarque. You have anything you want to add on that, man?
Doc, you're awesome. I love being in the same room when we are out and about and we find ourselves in the same area. I just want to know, how do you do it all? That's my. You do so.
I delegate a lot of things, and like I said earlier, people that's come in my path that takes the load off. So I'm able to meditate and be able to say what I need to say to encourage and motivate other people.
Well, you do it.
Love it.
Yeah, you definitely do that. I'm motivated already. I mean, you got me going. Most people that know me know I'm not a morning person per se, but Renee got me going. I feel like I've been up for half a day now. I'm good to go. So
that's right.
I don't need no coffee. That was fantastic. So thanks a lot for bringing that to us. And I mean, Renee, tell them again how they can get in touch with you, just so we can make sure we get that up.
Yes, my website is www.reneesunday.com, and everything's on there. Actually, all the social media networks and all the things that we're doing.
That's fantastic. See, she bringing it from Georgia. Now, just so you know, I'm actually in Georgia right now myself. So we got I'm in Georgia, you're in Georgia, Klarque's in Georgia. We got Allyson coming from Texas. So we got a whole Southern thing going on today. So so it's really going on good. So what we're going to do now is bring on my good friend. I've known Klarque for it's been almost, what's it been, about 10 years now, Klarque?
At least 10 years. At least.
So we've known each other for a long time, and I just tell you a quick story. We both were in the whole real estate investment game strong back earlier in the decade or so, and actually the turn of the century. So we were there, and as many remember, back in around 07, it took a turn for the worse. So we kind of went separate ways and tried to reinvent ourselves and think of different things to do, and we did. And thanks to the advent of technology and the Facebook thing, I found Klarque Garrison again, and found out he was doing a radio show, and it was called The Conversation, and I actually to be on the show. I got to be on the show, found out he was really growing this thing into something big, and it became Survival Radio Network, which I am now a part of as well with him. But Klarque has done some great things with it, and he has turned that into a huge, huge type of situation. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about it and what he does. But Klarque, his topic today is why you need your own radio show, and I think that's a great topic because his network is growing. If you want to do it, you need to get with him because he is the man. So, Klarque, without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you, Mr. Klarque Garrison, everybody.
Thank you. Hey, Barrett, I want to point out two things. One, I love Doc's accent, by the way. It makes everything about her just brighten up. So thank God she didn't try to fix that, because it doesn't need to be fixed. I love your Southern accent. One thing that she put in her slide that really stuck out to me, among others, is at the top right-hand corner, it said Thrive 365. And to me, one of the ways you can do that is to let your voice be heard. So the majority of my presentation that I'm going to talk to you about is going to be how to get your voice to be heard by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. If you have a product, service, or business, you have any one of those, then you need to pay attention. Because what I found over the last, I guess, almost 5 years is that your voice can be muffled by all of the voices out there in the universe, right? So if you wrote a book, you're not the only one that wrote a book. So you're now competing against every single person that is not only writing a book as you speak, but those who've written books prior to you. And how do you get your voice out? In the olden days, I'll call them olden days because technology flies so fast, you know, in 5 years it seems like 50 now, as far as where technology grows. But in the olden days, you had to get in your car or plane and fly to all of these cities and all of these book signing events and shows and platforms and kind of navigate your way across not only your city, but your state and your region and the East Coast, the West Coast, what have you. The more you travel, the more people would see your book or know who you are, and the more books you would sell. If you have a service, and even if it's local to, say, where I am in Atlanta, let's say you have a heating and air company, right? And obviously, if you're just starting off as a heating and air company, there are other heating and air companies, and there are a lot of other big heating and air companies that are out there that are taking the lion's share of your clientele, because you're just starting out, right? So how do you get that voice that your service is available? Just, it may be a long par with the quality of service. It may be even better, but who's going to know? Right? And of course, there's marketing and promotion and all that stuff, but that stuff costs a lot of money and it takes a lot of time before marketing and promotion gets its way out. So you have to, at some point, yourself elite. How to differentiate yourself from everyone else. So I'm going to go over a few things. It's going to be a pretty short presentation, but I want you to maybe write some stuff down for those whose memory isn't as perfect. I know I'm not one to remember much, so I have to always write stuff down. But listen to some of the key points and see if this doesn't make sense to you. Many of you are probably trying to tune out right now because you're thinking to yourself, I don't want to do radio. I've never done radio. Why would I think about doing radio? I didn't go to J school. You know, I can't speak well, or I wouldn't know how to interview people, or I just don't know how to do it. Costs too much. All of the excuses you may want, but keep in mind why we have 50 Shades of Wealth. It is to disseminate information in a way that you normally wouldn't get it. And sometimes in that information you find simplicity. And I'm going to give you a very simple way of looking at this. If I can do it, if I did it 4 years, almost 5 years ago, absolutely anyone on this Hangout can do it. Anyone who listens to this in playback can exactly what I did. So you got to find out, why would you need to, right? That's the big thing. Well, why would I need, as an author, a writer, a business owner, a baker, a musician, an artist, a comedian, why would I need to have a radio show? Well, as I stated before, if you have a product, service, or business, then you're crazy not to. It's super cost friendly. The cost to start a show versus probably some of the other things you've done is remarkably lower. So that's another good reason, right? In the past, to become a guru, I know this is what I was taught when I first said, I want to be a speaker, I want to get out there and I want to talk about what I have to say to so many people. It was like, write a book. When you write a book, it was something about, if you wrote a book, I know Barrett and both Miss Sunday can appreciate this. When you write a book, people tend to look at you different. You automatically have credibility if you wrote a book, even if you don't know what in the heck you wrote the book about, right? automatically, when you show up at any event, any process, or you mention in a conversation that you've written a book, people think or believe you are a professional in the field that you wrote about. If you wrote a book on relationships, then you are a relationship guru after that. You wrote a book on economics, and you must know economics. You wrote a book on history about the president, and you must be a historian. Whether it's true or not, that's some of the things that people will assume about you. Well, radio, podcast, online, internet streaming, whatever you want to call it, it's all kind of lumped up into one big ball, has now taken that over. So you see thousands of people now who are substituting writing a book and are now opening their own radio stations, their own podcasts, their own streamlines, and being known as a guru in that individual field. It's happening already, whether you appreciate it or know about it or not. I'm bringing you the information to you now, so now you do. It's happening now around you, okay? Your competitors are doing it. If you don't do it, your competitors will. And you're going to have a very lofty hill to climb, having to go against someone whose voice can be heard all across the world at a moment's notice, not only in live present time, but in podcasts, which means it lives in infamy. So think about that in whatever it is that your project you're trying to get across. Would it be easier to get that product, service, or business to the masses if you had a megaphone and you could speak over the voices that are out there already? If so, keep listening. Now, you can communicate your message to others in other time zones, which is a real cool thing. I'm in the Eastern time zone, and guess what? It is just effective for me to sit here in the studio and do a broadcast and reach the people on the West Coast as it would be normally, where I would have to maybe drive or fly or some kind of way communicate my information to them if I didn't have this platform. It's funny because on my radio show, when I first started, my second biggest, largest audience was in Canada. And we'll talk about how you can get that to be done. But imagine that I had just as much reach. There are just as many people, probably at least in the beginning, that knew about me and my broadcast in Canada that knew about me in the United States. Now, I could never have done that prior to starting my radio show. There's no way I could afford it to do that. But internet radio, online radio, either one you can call it, has now erased all time zones, all boundaries. You could speak with somebody in Asia just as easily as I'm speaking to you now. So we've got to take advantage of this stuff. If you're not taking advantage of it, ask yourself why. Now, one of the other cool things is there's no restrictions on what you can say or do. Right now, currently, and this is another reason to take advantage of it now, because you never know what things may change, and they are trying to change things as we speak. But right now, there are no SEC guidelines that one who has an online platform has to follow. There's some minor things about what music you can and cannot play, yada, 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 but there are ways around that. But in general, I could sit on here and talk about just about anything my mind wants. Now, whether or not you listen, that's a whole other thing. But you can talk about, there's no one in the other that. So that's one cool thing. You will increase your clientele exponentially. I cannot emphasize that any more clearer. If you're at about, let's say, 1,000 people that generally are in your populace who buy your products or services, or maybe you've got a business and maybe your clientele is about a couple hundred people in the area, the number one way I would recommend to triple that exponentially is to get your own platform. Get your own platform. Again, there are no boundaries. If you're able to do this in a strategic way with marketing, promotion, and some of the other things we're going to cover in this presentation, you can reach, there's no way you can't reach 1 million people. Millions. There's nothing that would stop you from doing that other than yourself. And the last thing I'd say why you need to is you can be in people's, what I call, back pockets. Because all of these devices, when I talk about online radio, streaming, podcasts, all of those things can be viewed via smartphones. Okay? So people don't have to necessarily go home to find you. They can have their phone with themselves right at the moment and listen to you at all times. So you're always accessible. People can carry you around. Now imagine 10 years ago if you were starting a business, product, or service and someone said there was a very simple, easy, low-cost, effective way to reach people where they are. All of us would have jumped at it immediately, no matter the cost. The fact that this is low cost is just it's nonsense for you not to do it. So here's some fast facts I want to talk about, or just kind of give an idea of some people like, well, online radio versus terrestrial, and we'll get into the pros and cons of that. But you may not know. It's kind of like in the 80s when CDs came out. And I believe they came out in the 80s. It might even be early 90s, but we get the point. When CDs came out, I remember I was a big cassette guy, and I had cassettes all over the place, thousands of them, right? And I remember looking at a little cylinder kind of device and thinking, what in the world is that? And it was silly. And if you guys remember record stores, because yes, there were record stores back then, they were kind of kept in the back in this little corner, and you might have had, I don't know, 20 or so CDs, right? So everyone wasn't putting them out. And I know for me, I fought getting a CD player. I just thought it was silly. I didn't think it just didn't make sense to me. I didn't think anybody would ever really get into it. And so I stayed with my cassettes until literally they stopped making cassette players. And mine broke and I couldn't get another one. Alas, I played a CD, and the clarity of it, the convenience of storing it, the durability, because remember cassette tapes would always wind up and they would get caught in things and they would pop and you have to take your little, maybe it was just me to try to, glue them back together. But wow, this thing called a CD, that's pretty phenomenal. Now, some of you are the people like me that are going to hold on to cassettes, or what is represented as cassette to you, and the world is going to pass you by. And before you look back and before you notice, whatever device, system, or thing that you're working on is no longer going to be accessible to you. And eventually, you're still going to have to get on board with the new product line. And right now, this product line is online radio. Find your voice. An April 2008 Arbitron survey showed that in the U.S., more than 1 in 7 persons between the age of 25 and 54 years of age listen to online radio each and every week. And 300 million people in the United States, at last check at least, we had somewhere around 300 million people in the last. So 1 out of 7 of those between the age of 25 and 54 listen to online radio each week. So perhaps you're not one of those people, and perhaps you don't listen to online radio and you've never paid it any attention. You don't even know it exists for the most part. But guess what? People are. That's a lot of people. In 2012, Pandora, which is a system of online radio. So for those of you who listen to Pandora, Pandora is online radio. It's internet radio. Pandora and other subscription-based and free internet radio services accounted for nearly 1/4 of the average weekly music listening time among consumers between the age of 13 and 35. So almost 1/4 of the people, of the masses in our country, are listening to some sort of device similar to Pandora and some other things out there, but as for their listening for their music pleasure. So I'm trying to show you where the trend is going. Hopefully you're following this. As internet radio listening rose among 13 to 35 age group listeners to AM versus AM and FM radio, which now account for 24% of the music listening time, that has declined. The amount of people who are listening to AM and FM radio has declined just in this year 2 percentage points. Now, that may not mean a lot to you, but the radio folks, they're screaming for the hills. They are running for the hills. They understand all too well what is occurring right now. I think right now the listening share is around 41% for radio, AM, and FM. So they're losing already, not only on music time, but people are finding their information now through podcasts. Many of you have heard of the thing called YouTube, right? It's huge. I don't even think you can imagine how long it takes to view every YouTube video out there on YouTube. You just can't. And in YouTube, you can find any question you want. If you want to learn how to, I don't know, fix the chandelier, type in how to fix chandeliers. There's somebody on there to tell you exactly how and when, and easy to do that. That's podcasting. Video on YouTube are podcasts. It's in the same genre. It's in the same boat. So let me tell you a little bit about how I discovered it, and perhaps this message resonates with someone out there. So as Barrett was saying, I already had a show when he met me, but I had written a book in 2010 called How to Survive the Next 365. It was on my heart. It was kind of a memoir of sorts of the decline, which Barrett talked about, of real estate and what effect that had on me as I thought I was really in my wheelhouse. This is what I was put on earth to do, and I had the picket fence, the car, the house, and all that stuff. And of course, all those things came drastically crashing down around me. 365. Okay? So my manager at the time, I had been doing the book signing things, all the traditional things that I was told to do. And my manager said, hey, there's this really cool thing out here, and Blog Talk Radio was only 4 years old at that time. And you should check it out. It's a way, you don't have to do it traveling, because traveling costs money, right? Many people who do book signings break even, and many of them lose money. By the time you drive and fly or get the hotel room and pay for your booth and all of that stuff, very, very much so, you don't sell enough books to cover your expenses. Only those people who already have a name and have kind of done that, been there, done that, actually bring home a nice little chunk of revenue. And usually they have some kind of, I know there's a way around it. You do more events while you're out there. So if you're going out to Dallas, you don't just do the Dallas book signing. You kind of schedule some other things around the area to do that. Well, still time consuming. How would you like to get on a device or be on a platform where you can still be in Dallas? You can still reach out to everybody in Dallas and talk about the book, and then they can just go online and pay for the book, and you don't have to go anywhere. You can be in your bedroom. I was like, hey, I'm in. What is it? So introduced me to the radio system that was Blog Talk Radio. This is where we still are, and we'll talk about that a little later, what that is. But introduced me to that, and I fell in love. Absolutely fell in love with it. And I had no information about radio. I didn't know what it was, how it worked. In fact, I was so scared of it. I asked her, because she had radio experience, to be the host and just kind of interview me. I'll talk about the material. That much I knew I could do. And of course she did, and she tricked me, and a month later she said, I can't host it anymore, you're going to have to do it yourself. And me being a person that hates to quit, I dove in and just said, fear be damned, let's get it done. And as I gradually became accustomed to it, or just kind of, and I tell people all the time who come to the network, you just have to do it. It's like anything else in life. It's like writing, we talked about writing a book. Well, I got better as a writer the more I wrote. You get better at this the more you do it. There's no way around that. I can teach you, we do teach you a lot of the technical things, and you'll learn those things, but just doing them or doing it enough, if you're the kind of person that wants to get better and better at what they do, you will. And by the way, all of the people on this Hangout have shows, ironically. So think about that. So that's how I got started. That's how I kind of jumped into it, and I evolved it and got better because I listened to other shows. I listened to terrestrial, online, satellite radio, all the radio I could to figure out how I could be better as a communicator and get my message out. And that's where it grew from there. And it evolved to many other things, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes of where it went to. But that's ideally how I got started. So that's not magical, right? I didn't go to J school. There was no magic involved. In fact, there was no one to even teach me how and what not to do. Along the way, I met some great people who guided me and told me, hey, don't fall into that pit you're about to fall into. And so I learned some of the things, and so I got better. I got so much better that I felt like I wanted to develop a platform for others to get better at, so that you wouldn't have to fall into the holes and traps and that I fell into, so that you would have someone to kind of coach and teach you and mentor you along the way and make the system easier. Now, in fact, that's to create a system around it. And that's where the origin of Survival Radio Network came about. And I'm so excited about where we are, where we've gone, and where we're going. I can't even think straight. I mean, it really is exciting, and as Barrett say, we've got some growth and just really phenomenal things coming up in 2015. Right now, we have over 30 shows on board. We've reached the milestone of over 875,000 downloads. So think about that. We've got a system that we built that has had almost 1 million people in less than 2 years touch. I mean, where else could you do something like that? You tell me and I'll do it. We're an award-winning network. We've had some phenomenal people aboard as hosts, such as Tommy Jenkins of Cameo. Some of you know Queen Afua. She's a holistic guru. Carvin Havens, the Grammy Award-winning producer and writer, the gentleman, he and his partner who discovered Music Soul Child and kind of created that whole Philly sound and continues to be an advocate for music world. And of course, the one and only Barrett Matthews with Chris Bridges, who he talked about, and I'm sure he'll mention a little later. You know, so we've got and have had some phenomenal people aboard, and some of you may say, well, who are some of the people you reach? Or who are some of the people that have been attracted to your voice? You know, that's the theme. It's your voice. Well, just to name a few, and keep in mind, if I had not had my radio show, none of these people I'm about to call off to you would have given me the time of day. There's no way I could have picked up the phone and just called them and said, hey, can we talk? Hey, can I talk to you about this? Or can we do this? And can we partner and collaborate? There's absolutely no way any one of these people would have known who Klarque Garrison out of Atlanta, Georgia, would have been or cared. But because I had this platform, this microphone, I was able to attract people like Les Brown. We've had actress Melinda Williams, historical writer Michael Gerber, E-Myth. We've had the creator, the mother of the Matrix, Sophia Stewart on. We've had Academy Award-winning costume designers on. Bobby Seale, founder of Black Panther, has been on the network. Bob Dole of The Secret. Kimberly Elise, another actress, just this year. Kelsey Scott, who appeared and was an actress of the Oscar award-winning 12 Years a Slave. I mean, I could go on. Tony Terry, Glenn Jones, Rodney Perry, comedian, Lenny Wilkins, NBA Hall of Fame coach and player, Deion Ferris, Karen White, Troy Bayer, actress, a phenomenal actress and producer, and the list goes on and on and on. If you go to our website, which I'll give you a little later, you'll see about 300 or 400 people, well-known people that have been on. But you know what? Some of the best interviews that I've had, and some of the best people that I've enjoyed on the show have been people that you probably wouldn't have heard of. But because I've had this platform, I was able to share that and collaborate with people in my town, in my state, in my region, across the country, and abroad. And that is the magic sauce of having this platform. Our objective here, and has always been, is to inspire, motivate, and educate our listeners. So what are some pros of radio? And here's the question I get a lot. Well, if I'm going to do radio, I want to do terrestrial radio. I want to go down to my FM station, or I'll just go to AM station, and I'll just, kick out the dough and get into radio. Because why? That's what you know. You don't know that 1 out of 7 people are sitting in their homes, in the comfort of their home, probably on their smartphone, listening to someone's show somewhere in the world. You don't know that that margin is gradually getting wider, and that more terrestrial radio programs are dying out. Think about your local city. I know in Atlanta, we're down to syndicated shows. Most of the shows that broadcast in a city of almost 7 million people are syndicated shows. Okay? So even they are getting away from this. So what are some of the pros for terrestrial radio? And I'll just go through pros from terrestrial to online podcast. Terrestrial, more widely known, more popular, can easily be heard in the car, right? So that's one of the conveniences. But we'll talk about downsides of that as well. It's established musical outlet for those in the music genre. That's still on point, but that is changing. It can be a job, income, salary position. They do create an office space studio, and the quality of sound is magnificent because they use compression mics, right? And they have a compression system. So what are some pros on podcasting? Well, it's more cost effective. You can host from anywhere. I'm in a studio, but the studio is in my second bedroom. Here we are. All right, so I can walk right out of this. I can do a podcast, and I can interview Muhammad Ali. I can interview Oprah. I can interview whoever right here in my home right now, and walk right next door and go watch TV or go outside or get a cup of coffee, and I don't have to travel anywhere, right? You don't have to have experience. You can develop that. You can learn that. You can get with a system that will teach you that. There's no office or studio required. It's mobile. Right, so I can take this and go anywhere I want. It's just a couple of things I got set up here, and I can put this all in one bag, and we can just go anywhere we want, and I can do my show from anywhere. It's a revenue source as well. It's a wider listening audience. So most AM radio, if you do AM radio, it's a city city span. Okay, the AM radio span is very short. And after 6, I believe it's 6 p.m., it gets even tighter. So less people hear you. I can be just heard in Ghana, Africa, just as easily as I can be heard in Atlanta, where I am. So it's a much wider listening audience. And see, that's the thing that I don't get. And I just had somebody who was talking about radio, and we talked about it, and they were dead set on, hey, I want to be in a studio, and I just got to be in a studio, and they just wanted to, and it was the allure, I guess, of driving somewhere, no matter if it's raining or cold or hot or whatever, driving through traffic, getting to the studio place, hopefully on time, and getting into a studio, I guess, at another building, because you couldn't have one in your house, right? But they were dead set on that, and I said, well, what are you trying to do? Well, I'm trying to get my book and my play and all this information out to a wider audience. Why would you go to terrestrial radio then? That defeats the purpose. If you want to be a wider audience, sit down and let me show you how, at the comfort of your bed, in your bed if you like, you can reach the masses overnight. And last but not, which I think is a pretty cool pod, is you can air live like we're doing now and also go into podcasts. So not only can you catch my show live, we can have an interaction, but it can immediately be placed in podcast so anybody can listen to it afterwards. If you didn't catch it at 5, that's okay. Catch it tomorrow, next month, next year, next decade. It doesn't matter. It's always out there. You can always come back to it. All right? So those are some of the things that I think are pros. I think those were, yeah. Here are some of the cons. Cons for terrestrial radio. You do need experience. And typically, if you're not famous or well-known, they're not going to hire. It's just what the market has become. They no longer develop talent. Used to be in radio, you start off as an intern, you gradually become an engineer, you gradually become an assistant, a producer, and sooner or later they'll give you some mic time, maybe on the weekends while nobody's really listening, so you can get your groove on, you can try to get better. They have no more budget to develop talent, so they just find people who are already popular, and they give them a mic and say, go, because you already got a following. So there's no way you walking off the street are going to be able to accomplish that. AM radio is expensive. If you don't believe me, just call one up and say, what is it for an hour? Okay? And it's little to no marketing advantage over what you can create. Again, you do have to leave your house, rain, sleet, or snow. If your show is at Tuesday at 5 p.m., you got to get out of there. I don't care if it's snowing outside. Your show must go on, right? You can't call and say, I feel like doing it today. So you got to always get in your car and go somewhere, no matter what the conditions are. And SEC guidelines. So there are things you can and cannot say. There are some words you can and cannot say. All right? Online, cons for online. There are very few, but there's some. There's no ready-made audience. So you do have to grow your audience from scratch. You're one voice in a sea of voices. So we talked about that, and we'll cover a few things, and I'm wrapping it up on how to get your voice heard over others. You have to establish your credibility, because no one, again, knows who you are. So the more you do shows, the more people will see you, hear you, understand you, and say, this guy knows what he's talking about, or girl. Marketing is everything in online radio. Marketing is absolutely everything. You have to build your own staff or team, and internet failures, they happen. It's internet. Your internet goes down, I'm sure, at your house from time to time, and so it may happen on a show when your internet goes down. So those are some of the things that are cons against that. You have to weigh those things out. Of course, everyone is different. Now, what are the steps to getting started? We're getting to the meat. Well, first, develop your niche. What are you going to talk about specifically? Don't just start a show and say, I just want to talk about everything. It's not going to work. You're going to be all over the place. People need to identify, why do your voice in a sea of voices, why do I need to tune into you? What's special about you? So sit back and think about that. What am I going to talk about? Sure, I can talk about 90 things, but carve it down at least in the beginning to one. Locate a platform for you. There are many out there. Now, of course, at the end, I'm going to talk about mine, but there's Voice America, TalkStream Live, Web Talk Radio, Live 365, and, of course, Blog Talk Radio, which is the platform we use, just to name a few. Decide where you want to start. Now, you can start like I did 5 years ago and be solo and work your way through the system, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, people do it all the time, and there's a way to do that. You got to be consistent. You got to stick with it, and it will happen. Or you can join a team. There are networks out there, and we'll talk about mine in a few minutes, that help curve that curve of learning experience and give you the information and kind of speed up that process for you. And they also have a listening audience you can plug your plug into. All right? Decide who you want your audience to be and where to find them. So if I'm holistic medicine, if that's my thing, I've got to figure out where are the people who need to hear holistic information, right? Don't just shotgun blast thinking, yeah, I'm just going to put this on Facebook and think everybody's going to find you. There is a method to madness, and we talk about that a little in my program, which I'll talk about. So those are some of the things of how you get started. Now, how do you create a show? Real quick, duration, how long? How long do you want your show to be is a key thing. In the beginning, I would start very short. An hour is a very good, comfortable time to do a show. Mess up, figure out what you're going to do, and build on that. Don't start off with 3-hour, 4-hour shows. It doesn't make sense. You're not going to be able to fill up the time. People are going to get bored and they're not going to listen. Formatting. Do you want to do monologue, segments, interview style, combination of the two, and building your intro and outro? All of those things need to be thought out. Graphics and branding, as I said before, are absolutely key to separating yourself from the masses. Marketing promotion is everything. What music, if you're going to have music, can be played, and what will you play? And how to get commercials and drops done. Because you want, here's the thing someone shared with me early on, you want your show, even though you're not terrestrial radio, you want it to be as similar to terrestrial radio as possible. Because, see, people listening to your show are accustomed to terrestrial radio. I mean, the radio, FM, AM that you hear in the car. So the minute they can clue in that your show is as similar to that as possible, it makes their ear feel comfortable and they feel a little bit more. Those who are not used to tuning into it. So I would recommend that, and the station IDs are very important. We're almost winding down. Some other key things that I'm going to share with you a little later in a program, what equipment to use. How do you get bookings? How do you get A-liners to come on your show? How to build a marketing strategy for your show. How do you collaborate with people? You know what? There's no way better to build your show than to collaborate with other show hosts. Engineering, producing is vital. Don't try to do it all yourself. Building it a revenue source. I always say doing radio is fun. Doing radio and making money is even funner. I like funner. And, of course, live remotes. We talk about that as well. How do you get out to events? And Ms. Sunday is especially adverse to this. How do you get out there and connect to people? And that is another way of marketing and promoting and all of those good things. So that is my program. That is my spiel. I hope you learned some things. I hope I at least have cued something in your mind that says, wow, I never thought about that. Let me think about that a little longer. So here's what I have to offer. I would like to offer you guys a 30-day coaching segment. All right, and what it's going to be, it's going to be a 1-hour consultation with me first. We're going to sit down on the phone, and if you're in Atlanta, I'll sit down and we'll have a cup of coffee. But we're going to talk about answering a lot of those questions we just talked about. All right, you and I are going to hang out on, when I say on the phone, we're actually going to do a Google Hangout. We're going to talk about how to set those things up and what you really want to do. It may turn out you don't want to do a radio show, but you know what? I may clue you into some things that you feel you should do it. We're going to set up some strategies. You're going to have access to me 4 hours through email. So if you come up in the middle of the night with a question you forgot to ask, no problem. You're going to get it done. Each week we'll convene on a hangout, all right, so that's 4 times, to update and figure out where we need to go next and re-strategize if we need to. And we'll review each of the steps and strategies I've talked about here until you're ready to be up and running on your vehicle. I'm going to do this 30-day coaching just for the gentleman who I respect, Barrett, for $99. And I'm only doing it for 5 people. Why? Because I'm actually running a network. In the 215, we've got a lot of stuff planned, and I only have time, or I can only carve enough time to work with 5 people. So I really want to work with you. But you have to be the first to connect with me. So here's what I need you to do. Get a piece of paper out, write this down, or you can do it as we speak. If you're listening to this in podcast, which is, hey, that's a good reason you have a podcast, go ahead and reach out to me. First 5 people that reach out to me and get signed up, go to survivalradionetwork.us. Survivalradionetwork.us. That's our network website. Go to the contact page. Send me your contact information. In the title, I want you to put online radio coaching. Online radio coaching and your information. All right? First 5 people, I will sign up personally and we'll get started. You will have your show ready to rock and roll in 30 days or less. Barrett, that's all I got. I want to thank you so much for letting me have this time. It has been a pleasure. And I want to thank you personally for being one of those strong, powerful shows. You guys have been rocking and rolling now for, I guess, a little over a year. And I want to say I appreciate the value that you brought to the network.
Well, Klarque, I want to thank you for the opportunity of being on the network. Chris and I, we do Lunch and Learn with Chris and Barrett on Fridays at noon on Survival Radio Network. We thoroughly enjoyed it. Those who listen to our show know Chris and I just have a ball. We enjoy it, but it wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for Klarque Garrison and the brilliance behind it of putting together Survival Radio Network. I think anyone who is listening should take advantage of it. If I didn't have a show, I know probably me and Renee would probably have to start our own show coming with you right now. I mean, Renee, what did you take away from that?
You know, the thing is, you know, I'm very transparent. But Klarque, I can kind of tell people what I went through. I never thought I would be in media. And some people about that as well, but I think back, we have a picture at home that I was 18 months old, and I'm actually, if people remember Olin Mills, they used to go around to all the churches and take pictures. I actually have a telephone in my hand, and so I told my mom and dad, this is what y'all did to me, you know, kind of jokingly, but the thing is, you don't feel that you can't do it. Klarque, Barrett, and myself, we started small, just like Klarque said. But when you be true to yourself and be authentic, I'm telling you, the sponsors would come, the advertisers would come. You would actually end up doing the show, and you're making a profit from it. That's what we're learning today of how to have wealth and success. So whatever's burning inside, people will listen. And just be authentic, be true to yourself, and you actually have to be around like-minded people that's before you, so you won't make the same, I'm going to say it, mistakes that we made. We're going to make it easier for you. So, Klarque, that was an awesome presentation. You're right. All of us need a radio show to get our voice out.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, Klarque, I mean, I want to remind everybody else also, go to the Facebook group, 50 Shades of Wealth. Type in your comment. Type in what you got from Klarque. And I just posted up there, he's giving an offer to you guys for the first 5 people for $99. You can't beat that. 30 days of coaching? Do you understand how valuable that is to get your own profit-making machine through a radio program? You have the man who put it together here. He's not joking. He's got almost 1 million people who have listened to his network. That's amazing in 2 years. That's amazing. So, I mean, I'm like I said, Klarque, I'm proud of you, and I thank you so much for what you bring. But once again, let the people know how to get in touch with you and how they can get that thing going again with you.
Absolutely, and I noticed on my phone someone actually sent one in already, so someone is on. Go to survivalradionetwork.us, survivalradionetwork.us. Go to the contact page. You'll see the information. Just type your contact information. Put online radio coaching in the title box. Press send. And we'll contact you immediately and get you started. And again, just in conclusion, as Renee so adequately said, guys, anybody can do this. You don't have to be scared of it, and you're going to be scared. There's no way out of that, okay? So all of us are probably still nervous the moment they count down and we're getting on. But if you, as Renee said, if you're passionate, and my only requirement has always been that you are passionate about something. Whatever that is, if you're passionate about it, then it's going to come off as authentic. So you don't really have to worry about the technical aspect of it. We'll teach you that stuff. We'll show you that stuff. All that stuff will be learned and know it at the beginning. I made a lot of goofs on, how to introduce a guest or how to get in and out of commercial breaks and how to end the show or begin a show, how to set the show up. No one teaches you that. There's no real school to go to, so you have to learn it. Usually you learn it through trial and error. We're going to put you in a system that you won't have to fall in a lot of the pit holes that all of it. And so all you have to do, Survival Radio Network, or soon after you listen to the next couple of presentations, go ahead and send that over. And again, I'm sorry, I can only take 5 because my time is just not going to allot more than that. I wish I could, and maybe somewhere down the line in 2015 we'll do this again. But the first 5 people we'll bring aboard.
And Klarque, I want to also, I want to say, first of all, like I said, you're doing a great job with the network. And a lot of people may want to take advantage of it. I know I'm put you on the spot for a second. I want to ask you I know because you and I talk a lot about the network. Right. What type of shows are you even looking for right now? Are there any type of different shows that you're looking for, something different?
Well, again, if you're passionate about it, it's going to come off. But we are looking for like sports shows. So anybody who's, and I don't mean you can do a show because you just like sports, right? I mean, you in some way, shape, or form, sports is what you are, who you are. Maybe you're involved in sports in some aspect. We do need that. I wish I had it written down because I was thinking the other day.
Yeah, I know. I'm putting you on the spot.
It'd be nice if we had it. I know what I need. A show about law. I would love to have a show with a lawyer that would talk about different aspects of the law. Maybe things to give you tidbits on what not to do when you get stopped by the police. Just all kind of little things, depending on what law you're in. I think that would be a really cool show. And think of what that show would do. It would drive traffic to your law firm. If you were on every week talking about little tidbits, and I know if you gave me something that would save my butt, especially nowadays, you would be the first number that I would call if I got in any mess, right? So it's a perfect vehicle, again, to showcase not only your wherewithal, how smart you are, what you know, but also you become that name that registers in people's voices because they tune into you. I mean, that would just make sense to me. So those are two of the types of shows that if I just had to pull out a hat that we don't have, that I would love for somebody to have. But as long as you've got something, again, that is you're fired up about. If you've written a book on, we don't have anything. We have tons of shows on women's empowerment. We don't have one show on men empowerment. empowering just men or young boys. We don't have one show, and and it's hard to find that information. Of just somebody who's pumping in, hey guys, we've got to be better. Here's how. So those are a couple ideas.
Well, thanks a lot, Clark. I appreciate you for joining us today on the 50 Shades of Wealth. Step up your game, step into 2015. And thank you as well, Renee. I want you guys to stick with us. Everyone, please go into the group, the Facebook group, 50 Shades of Wealth, and put in your comments. And it's my turn now. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what we're doing here at E2E Systems and how you can get yourself going and step into a better life for yourself. So we're gonna get that going. What I do at E2E Systems is I talk to you guys about how to get yourself being more productive and turning that production into productivity. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to get that going as soon as I can get this screen going. Let's see here. Hold on one second. There we go. That's that one, but that's not the one I want to show you. This is the one I want to show you. And for some reason, it does not want to operate the way I want it to. 1 second. Why is this not acting right? Let me try this again. Let me stop the screen share and go back to the screen share. Let's see here. Let me try this one down here. My slideshow. All right, there we go. All right, now, guys, we're going to talk to you about the art of procrastination. You see, many of you out there procrastinating a lot of things in your activities and in your life and in your business and so forth and so on. Well, what my job is to do is to help you to get away from those types of things. So, who am I? I'm Barrett Matthews. I'm a coach. I coach in action and accountability. But see, the thing is, guys, you can't have this action and accountability without profits and productivity. So what I want to do is talk to you about those things because, as I mentioned here before, procrastination is the silent killer. It hurts you from getting all your goals accomplished. It stops you from achieving all the things you wanted in life. Think about that. All of you have things that you want to accomplish in life, but you never got to achieve them because you procrastinate. Well, let's stop and think about that for a second. Because, guys, there's an epidemic going on all around the world. You better panic. That's right. You better panic because there is an epidemic going on in this world. And it's called Tuyan. And you're wondering, Tuyan? Well, I have to ask you this. Do you suffer from Tuyan? See, Tuyan is a Chinese word. You might not have heard of Tuyan before. But believe me, Tuyan is prevalent in all society. All society. Well, let's find out, do you suffer from Tuyan? I ask you this question. Are you constantly finishing things or starting things and not finishing them? Is that you? Do you always give excuses for things? Is that you? And if that's you, I want you to type into the feed, say ouch, and then hashtag step up your game if you're always giving excuses for things. I know some of you are saying ouch right now because that's you. Well, do you need someone to push you to complete your task? Is that you? I mean, I hear people talking all the time about needing motivation, needed someone to push them to get it done. Is that you? Are you that person? Well, if so, you suffer from Tuyan. I want you to type into the feed right now, Tuyan, Tuoyan, hashtag step up your game. Because if that's you, you suffer from Tuyan. Now you're asking, Barrett, what in the world is Tuyan? I know that's what you're thinking. What is Tuyan? Well, guys, I hope you're sitting down. I hope you're ready for this. Because Tuyan is procrastination. That's right. I know you're panicking. I know you're running. You're scared. Tuyan is procrastination. Well, guys, guess what? I know a little bit about that. I know a little bit about procrastination. And we can help you because it started for me when I was a little boy. That's right. That's me in the corner over there with my little funny-looking shirt on. But that's me over there in the corner. Yes, I knew about procrastination. I knew about Tuyan since I was a little boy. Well, when I was often misbehaving, as I did on occasion, it often led to spanking. Tuyan got me my butt beat. Yes, it did. Me and the belt were close friends because I was a bad little boy, and my parents believed in a little bit of corporal punishment. Nothing bad, nothing real bad. It was just to make me realize that I was wrong. Well, also, you know, when I didn't pay attention to what I was doing with my schoolwork and my homework, my grades dropped. Well, my grades dropped because I was not doing what I was supposed to do. I needed someone to push me, my motivation. That Tuyan was setting in, guys. It was getting me in trouble. And because of that, oh, my grades dropped a little bit. I remember what it felt like to bring home that first C. Oh, man, I was scared. I was so scared because I knew that I wasn't doing my best. I knew I wasn't doing my best. How many of you out there know that you are not doing your best? You want to live your best and do your best. Type into the feed right now, do my best. Do my best. Type that into the feed, hashtag step up your game. Well, I played football in high school. And, you know, I could have done better with, you know, in football, but I definitely could have done better in my summer activities. I got a summer job once. My football coach got it for me, and we were working construction. Well, the construction work, it was hard work. I didn't mind the hard work. I just hated getting up early in the morning. And we got up early in the morning. Well, getting up early in the morning meant I was tired throughout the day. And because I was tired, well, I developed a nickname amongst the crew of Sleepy, because I was just sleepy. I just would not get up and have the activity and the energy that the rest of them have because of that Tuyan. It set in on me. Well, then I went to college. I am a proud graduate of Hampton University. Go Pirates. Well, I didn't do the plan that most people did it in college. I took what we call the 5-year plan. Because of Tuyan, I didn't move as fast as everyone else through school. I mean, am I striking any nerves here? Am I stepping on any toes? If that's you, say that's me. Type that into the feed right there. Say that's me. Type that into the 50 Shades of Wealth feed. Hashtag step up your game if I'm resonating with anyone. And see, in college, I like to have fun just, you know, as much as everyone else. I would go out to social events, but like many of us, I kind of got there late. And see, when I got to the social events late, you know, I don't know if you guys can think about this. Sometimes the ladies too, there was that special someone that you wanted to talk to who was at that social gathering, and you knew they were going to be there, and you were excited about getting there, but you got there late, and guess what? You sat there and watched them go off with somebody else. Yeah, that was me. Everybody say all. Type all into the feed there on the Facebook groups. 50 Shades of Wealth here. Just type all in there. Hashtag step up your game. But that was me. That was me. I have to admit that. Well, so you see, I know a little bit about procrastination. So here's what I want you guys to do right now. I want you to do this right now. I want you to write down one thing. Take that in your notes. Write down that one thing you really want to get done. One thing that you really want to get done for yourself, for your life, for your business. What's that one thing? And if there's anyone that's willing to share that in the group, type that into the group right now, that one thing that you're willing to share. Type that into the Facebook group right now, the 50 Shades of Wealth Facebook group. Hashtag step up your game. I want you to type that in right now if that's one thing that you're willing to share. Now, what I want you to do in your notes, I want you to write down what are the benefits of being able to get that one thing done. What are the benefits? How is that going to benefit you if you get that one thing done? Is it gonna be something that you are very proud of? Is it? Is it going to be that one thing that you're very proud of? Because I want you to type that in. What's the one benefit, just one benefit of getting that one thing done? So type that in right now to the feed, and we're going to see how that goes. Now here comes the test. What are the consequences if you don't get it done? What are the consequences if you do not get that done? See, the thing is, a lot of times people are quick to talk about how things are going to benefit them, how things are going to help them, how things are going to, make things better for them. But we don't talk about what are the consequences. You see, people move on pleasure, they move on pain. A lot of times we're focusing on the pleasure and we don't move. Well, maybe you need to focus on the pain, because that may be the thing that's going to get it done for you. So what are the consequences? Write that down. What are the consequences? Now, I want to ask you this question. How many of you would be happy if in this presentation here, I could assist you in getting those things done? If you would be happy, just type in, I would be happy. Hashtag step up your game. Type that in right now. I would be happy. Hashtag step up your game. So, guys, as I showed you, I know a little bit about procrastination. I study it. I'm not the only one who studies it. There are institutes out there that study procrastination. It's not something that you think you're the only one dealing with. It affects people in so many ways. It affects people's health, your stress level, your work ability. It affects drinking, smoking. A lot of people don't realize how procrastination affects them in so many ways, and people don't understand that this thing is, I consider it a sickness, because so many people suffer from procrastination, or as we call it, tuyan. Well, folks, is this you?
That's not good.
Oh, I don't need this. I'm already late.
Somebody will come. Anybody out there?
Do you have a phone?
No. Sorry. Somebody! Hello? There are two people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something? I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm gonna cry.
Well, there's not enough left to do, is it?
Guys, is that you? Are you stuck right now? Are you trying to figure out how you're going to move? How you're going to get things going? Are you going to step up your game in 2015? Is that you? Are you trying to figure it out right now? I assume that some of you fit that category because you wouldn't be here if you weren't trying to figure out some things. And we're here to help you with that, because some of you fit this category.
Hello? Hey, don't worry about it. I'll fix it in a second. He said he can fix it. All right. All right. That's more like it. Says he can fix it.
You see, some of you are still just waiting on someone else to do it for you. Think about it for a second. How many times have you had the opportunity to do something, but you were still waiting on someone else? And you use that as your excuse as to why you weren't getting it done. You see, you're never going to get into the productivity part and the profits part until you start taking some action for yourself. And then folks, you just have to get off the escalator. Just get off the escalator. Well, guys, I show people how to get off that escalator. I wrote a book. It's called Why Didn't You Get It Done? A Guide to Helping You Get Off Your Assets. Now, if you feel that you're someone who suffers from tuyan or procrastination at any level, believe me, we address it in that book. We address the problems that cause it and the ways you can fix it, and why didn't you get it done. If you want to get a copy of that book, I advise you to strongly go to my website at www.e2esystems.com and get yourself a copy of the book. Trust me, you won't regret it. We have it in the paperback. We also have it in audio. But you need to get this book. It will help you as far as doing that. Matter of fact, type in right now, why didn't you get it done? Hashtag step up your game. So I want to make sure you guys get that and get that going for yourselves. So guys, as I think I've established that I know a little bit about procrastination. I literally wrote the book on it. So being that now I want to help you to try to solve that problem. So we want to dim the lights a little bit, and I want to talk to you guys about something. That's right. We're going to get you all into all these secrets.
Tell me a secret.
I want to talk to you about the secrets of procrastination and how you can fix it. We're going to get you guys all right and fixed on procrastination. Whoa. Sorry. I'm sorry. I went a little bit too far there. Let's get out of that. Turn the lights on. Blow out those candles. We're going to get back on the real deal here. I'm sorry. I went a little bit too far. So first thing you need to do, if you want to stop procrastination, is make a list. Okay, calm down, guys. Calm down. Well, make a list. You want to make a list of all the things that you need to do. Not on a yearly basis, on a daily basis. You want to write down the things you need to do, because you remember when you went grocery shopping, Grandma used to always say, don't go to the store without a what? Without a list. So you want to make a list. That's number one thing you want to do to stop yourself from procrastinating. So write that down. Number one, make a list. Hashtag step up your game. Now, you can't go anywhere without writing things down if you want to get things done. Ask yourself this question, guys. How many times have you gone through your day and got later on into it and said, you know what, there was something I was supposed to do, but I forgot what it was? Does that ever happen to you? I know it has. It happens to everyone because you don't write it down. Make a list, guys. Make a list of the things that you need to get done. And I promise you, if you do those things, you'll get better results for yourselves and you'll have more productivity. Now, number two, make an appointment with yourself. Now, I know that may sound crazy to some of you. That may sound silly. How am I going to make an appointment with myself? I am myself. Well, trust me, you get so busy, you get so caught up in your day-to-day life, in your daily activities, that you forget to make time for you. Especially if you have a family, you have a spouse, you have kids, you have a career. Some of you have 2, 3 careers. You have activities with your kids, you have activities with your church, other social activities. You forget to make time for yourself. Well, when you do that, you hurt yourself in the long run. So you have to make sure that you are doing the things necessary, as I said, necessary to give yourself some type of growth. Because if you don't, you're going to hurt yourself. So what I'm going to recommend that you do is go to timetrade.com. Timetrade.com. TimeTrade is a phenomenal website that helps you set appointments with who? With yourself. Helps you set appointments with yourself. So by doing so, you put yourself in a better position to get things done. Because I'm going to tell you, if you don't do those little things like that, now I know that may sound like, really, an appointment with myself? Really, Barrett? I mean, come on. I don't need to set an appointment with myself. That's kind of stupid. Trust me. You will need to do that. If you don't, you will find yourself hurting in the long run, because TimeTrade allows you to not to schedule it, It'll remind you. It makes sure that all of that stuff is taken care of, so that when you are in that position to where you're just wondering, I don't have time for me, I don't have time for myself, it all sets up for you. So I advise you, go to Time Trade, get that all set up for yourself, so that you can be in position to make things happen. So go to Time Trade. That's number 2. Type that in, www.timetrade.com, #step up your game. So that's number 2. Number 3, take some form of action. Take some form of action. You see, guys, anyone who knows me knows I have a catchphrase, which is take action. Because I just cannot stand it when people don't get things done. And not when they just don't get things done, but because they don't take action. You see what I'm saying? It's, they don't move, they don't get off, and they just don't, I don't know, they don't get off their assets, as I say, and they don't, step into their game. Or step up their game and step into their game too, because you have to get up and do it. I don't care if you get it wrong the first time, the second time, the third time, but you got to get up. You got to do something, because a lot of times you're rewarded just for taking action. Just for taking action, you get rewarded. The people that do nothing, guess what they get? Nothing. They get nothing. So you have to get up and take some form of action. Plan something, do something, check your results. Plan something, do something, check your results. Keep doing it over and over again. You're gonna make mistakes. That's right, I said it. You're gonna make mistakes. But you have to understand that everybody makes mistakes. None of us are perfect. But you cannot limit yourself from doing things because you're working for perfection and you won't do it unless it's perfect. You'd be surprised at how many people made mistakes and ended up having great results. Now, I'm going to tell you, the people who made Viagra, they made a lot of money on that. Those little blue pills made people a lot of money. But guess what? Viagra wasn't meant for that. It was actually meant to help people with heart problems. It ended up helping people with the other thing it does. I'm not going into that, but that's what it ended up doing. So it started out with a mistake that ended up being something that benefited and made people millions and millions of dollars. Well, don't you think it's worth you stepping up and doing something? Okay, let's go to number 4. Number 4, get some social accountability. Get some social accountability. Well, one of the tools that you can do to get some social accountability is stick.com. Go to stick.com. See, let me tell you a little bit about stick.com and why it's so beneficial to you to get that. And see, what stick.com does, it makes you stand up every day and say, I have to get it done. Why? Because I have someone who is counting on me to get it done. And if I don't get it done, I'm in trouble. Well, let me elaborate a little bit more on that. Remember when I mentioned to you about being accountable, and when you set your goals, you need to have some consequences if you don't get it done? Well, Stick makes sure that that takes place. What Stick.com does, it makes you sit down and put your goal in. You put your goal in, and then it will make sure that you set someone who is a referee. You set a referee. That referee is the person who is going to actually hold you accountable. So that referee is going to check with you and make sure that you are doing what's necessary. That referee gets an email, a text message, letting them know, okay, check on this person to make sure they're accomplishing their goals. How do you like that? You have someone who is making you accountable. So here's what happens also. If you do not get it done, there are stakes that you set in place. Meaning that, let's say if you said, well, if I don't get that goal done, I have to pay such and such $100. Wow. You're accountable now. You have to pay them money to get it done. It could be anything, but you set the stakes. So meaning that if you do get it done, you're rewarded by having that goal accomplished. But if you don't, your accountability partner is going to stay on you, and also you have stakes that you have to pay up when it's not done. How do you like that? So now let's go to secret number 5. Make a promise to yourself. Now, once again, I know you're thinking, well, when I talked about setting an appointment with yourself, make a promise to yourself. Well, think about it. You've done that before. You've promised yourself something. The problem is a lot of us promise ourselves something, but we don't keep a promise to ourselves because we know that we're not going to get on ourselves if we don't keep that promise. Am I right or am I wrong? Type into the feed, make a promise. Make a promise. Hashtag, step up your game. You need to make a promise to yourself, and you can do that by going to www.futureme.org. Futureme.org is a great site. What it does is it makes you set a promise to yourself for the future. So you can set that up to where it comes back to you to see where you are. See if you've reached your goals. See if you've kept that promise to yourself. See, and you all, I know you've heard this before, but I'm going to say it again. You know, goals take on a different meaning when you have to write them down. In your head, yeah, they're good. They're good. Even saying it to somebody is good. But when you write it down, when you put that pen to paper, or in this case, when you put that finger to the keyboard, when you can see your words written down, it takes on a different meaning. It becomes real. It becomes very real. So go to futureme.org, and you can type that in as well. Hashtag step up your game. That will help you to make that promise to yourself and keep it. Secret number 6, set goals. You've heard that before. You've done it before. Well, there's a way that you can set goals and keep a more structured approach to it. I want you to go to www.joesgoals.com. It's a very simple site. It's not complicated, not complex, not a lot of moving parts on it. But Joe's Goals will help you set goals for yourself, and you can go ahead and implement those goals and keep track of them, make sure that you're on track. You set all the parameters for yourself so you can reach your goals. Now, all these sites that I'm telling you to go to, you know how much they cost? Absolutely nothing. So I'm giving you some gifts right now. So please, guys, take advantage of these and make them work for yourself. You can do great things if you start utilizing these things and make them a part of your business and a part of your life. So use Joe's Goals. Set some goals for yourself. Don't just have it in your head. Don't have a dream. You can dream in your sleep. Set a goal and make it a part of your productivity. Make it a part of your activity so that you can turn all of that into some profits. Isn't that great? You want to make some profits, right? Type in, I want to make some profits. Type that in right now. Hashtag 50 Shades of Wealth. Hashtag step up your game. Now, secret number 7. That's right, we're at number 7. Have a success system. Let me ask you this. How many of you have a system in place that can help you to generate the profits you need and also is duplicatable? Can you duplicate it? If you cannot duplicate it, guess what, guys? It's not a system. It's just your way of doing things. And if it's your way of doing things, it's only going to work for you. And if you want to make big profits in this world, you're going to have a system in place. Well, here's what you need. You need to have a clear mindset. You're going to have to make sure that you put all those things aside so that it can help you to focus on your clients. You're going to have to make sure you have great communication. You're going to have to offer something that is your signature, so that it, as Klarque said earlier, it differentiates you. It makes you stand out. And you're going to have marketing that is really, really masterful. Now, here's the thing, guys. As you can see, this is all centered around having coaching, having some great coaching in place. You can try it on your own, but every person knows that is successful, right, by the way. every successful person knows you're going to need someone to coach you in that, someone who is going to guide you and direct you. You see, you can have someone to train you on different things, but you need someone that's going to coach you and put you in the right direction. You may have all the skills in the world, but a coach is the person that takes those skills and hones them and makes it into something that's productive. So that's what we want to do here at E2E Systems, which is why we're introducing to you the E2E Systems Success Blueprint. This is a system that is put in place so that you can get those profits and get that productivity going and take your business to another level. Now, if you know anything about E2E Systems, we are not the warm and fuzzy company. We are not the ones that are going to hug you and say kumbaya. We are the ones who are going to put the foot to rear and make sure that you get things done. So let's talk about the E2E System Success Blueprint. What are you going to get with this? You're going to get a lot. First thing you're going to get is a success checkup. We want to check up where you are right now. Find out how successful you are. And keep in mind, a lot of you may be thinking, well, I'm not successful at all right now. The fact that you have chosen to have someone help you shows some success. So don't say that you're not successful at all. You have some success. We want to make sure that we can check that up, find out where you are and what you need to do to improve upon that, okay? That's the first thing. We're going to give you a productivity probe. I know that may sound invasive to some of you, but it is invasive, but in a different way. We're going to invade your productivity to find out where your productivity, where you're not productive, where you're productive, where you're not productive. We want to find out what times of day you're most productive, what days of the week you're most productive, and what arena you're most productive. You see, the thing is, we're different. All of us are different, and what works for you may not work for some, and vice versa. So you need to make sure that you can get into the most productive element to make sure that you're getting the profits that you want out of things. So what else do you get with the E2E System Success Blueprint? You are going to get an accountability assessment. Now this is where the rubber meets the road. We are going to hold you accountable and make sure that you're accountable for the things that you say you want to do. You see, a lot of times, cause like you set your goals, you've written down your plans. So we're going to go over those plans with you and find out what you've done, where you are, where you're going. Are you on track? Why aren't you on track? What can get you on track? We do all those things in our accountability assessment. What else does your program include? Well, the E2E System Success Blueprint also includes an in-depth checkup of your goals. Yes, as I told you, we're going to have you bring your goals. So you want to write down all your goals, and we're going to go through every one of them. Now, see, keep in mind, certain goals may not be feasible at this time. That does not mean that we discard them. It just means that we have to put them somewhere else on the list so we can prioritize them to get them in place. Because I want you to understand something, guys. Obtaining wealth is a process. You don't wake up wealthy unless you're just born that way. But it's a process. So you have to be willing to put in the work, put in the activity, put in the productivity to get that wealth. So we're going to help to get you there, but we have to check up your goals first. Now, we have an assessment and an evaluation of your objectives. So your goals and objectives are two different things. You may have goals, but what is it that you are planning to get out of this? What is it that you need to obtain out of this? You see, we're going to give you an assessment of those because, once again, your objectives may not be something that you need to shoot for at this moment. Or we need to tell you need to step it up. You need to step up your game. You should be shooting for more, shooting for the moon. So we're going to help you with that. And we're going to study your current activity. This is key, guys, because your current activity should be in line with those goals and those objectives. If they are not in line, then we need to address that. So we're going to give you a view of the results of your activity. We're going to show you where you are, what you're doing with your activity, what results you're getting, and why you are where you are and why you're not where you want to be, and we'll help you with that. Now, we're also going to give you a proposal for future activity. This is where we start making a change in you. You see, we've done all the probing, we've done all the assessments. Now we're going to propose how you can change things to make things better so that you can become more productive. But it all starts with your activity. You have to start doing something different. You know that old saying, I believe it was by Einstein, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Well, if you're doing that, then you're insane. I hate to tell you this, but we can change that. We can fix that. Now, we're going to give you a new objective for your new activity with benchmarks, meaning that you have to reach certain benchmarks for us to help you. We're going to give you those benchmarks, and we're going to help you to get there. But you're going to have to do the work in that, okay? We're going to have check-in coaching, meaning that we're going to be checking in with you. You're going to have to check in with us to make sure that you are where you said you want to be and make sure you're doing the assignments that we have given to you. And we're going to have success acknowledgement. As I said, we're not a warm, fuzzy type of coaching, but we want to make sure that when you reach your goal, that you are praised for that. You know, that's a great thing to have success and to have someone work with you. As a coach, personally, I love that. I love seeing people obtain success and reach their goals. So we want to help you get there, and we're going to make sure that you get all that. Now, here comes the fun part. You ask, will it work? What? Is that what you're asking? Will it work? Of course it'll work. I say absolutely. Absolutely it'll work. But you have to put in the work. So, there's an easy way to do this, and there's a hard way to do this. And I think you know where I'm going with this. The hard way, you can keep doing what you're doing and hope things will improve. You've been doing that now for how many years? 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20. I mean, you know, you can keep doing that if you like. It's your call to do that. Or you can do things the easy way. What's the easy way, you ask? Oh, come on, you know the easy way. Let us help you. Get the E2E Systems Blueprint. It's not that hard. Here's what you got to do. Just come on with E2E Systems, and we can help you with that. Now, the value of this, if you heard all the things I went over, and I could probably be underselling it, the value of this, all of those things you get, is only $12.97. $12.97. You're going to get all of that coaching, all of us working with you to help you to reach success. What's that? What's that? Oh, no. Scratch out $12.97. Scratch out $12.97. That doesn't work anymore. Scratch out $12.97. You're going to get the E2E Systems Success Blueprint, wow, for $5.97. A $700 savings. $5.97. You heard it here, folks. A $700 savings for the E2E Systems Success Blueprint. You're going to get that. You heard it right from my mouth, and I'm the one that can change that, so I just did. I changed it. Well, guys, if you act fast, meaning that if you act today, you're going to get it only for $297. I'm knocking off $1,000, folks. Yeah, I might be crazy, but I'm knocking off $1,000 for you for the E2E Systems Success Blueprint if you act today. What's this, December 27th? If you act today, you get it for only $297. Well, guess what, guys? Who wants to be first? You want to be first? You remember that. Well, for the first 5 people, you not only get that for the $297, but you're going to get some other things with it. You're going to get one-on-one coaching with the expert of your choice. Now, I know they're going to kill me because I didn't even clear this with Klarque and Renee, but you're going to get a good 10 to 15-minute session with them where they're going to talk to you about what you can do next. I didn't clear it with them, but I know they're going to kill me for it, and I apologize, guys, but you got to help me out here. You got to help me out here. You're also going to get one copy of my book, Why Didn't You Get It Done? A guide to helping you get off your assets. You're also going to get 50% off of one ticket to the World Success Summit coming in 2015. Klarque knows what I'm talking about. This is an event we have been working on with Jasmine O'Day. We're going to be working on the World Success Summit. As plans are right now, we're doing a cruise, and you're going to get your ticket half off for that cruise. So that's going to be phenomenal if you get into the ETE System Success Blueprint today. The first 5 people, first 5. I'm only taking the first 5. So we also have a free gift for you. That's right, you get a free gift if you type in the word blueprint or text in the word blueprint to the number 929-244-4323. That's 929-244-4323. Type that in now, and we will get you into the E2E Success E System Success Blueprint, and we are ready to go with that. So type in the word blueprint, 929-244-4323. Get yourself a free gift right now. Now, if you want to contact us, also getting that Success Blueprint, go to www.e2esystems.com. That's www, the letter E, the number 2, the letter E, systems.com. I am Barrett Matthews, as you all know. I am the founder of E2E Systems. You can check me out on Facebook at E2E Systems. Just go to Facebook at E2E Systems. Also, you can go to Twitter. Find me on Twitter at E2E Systems. I'm just excited that you guys decided to join us today. I'm thrilled that you decided to join us today on this 50 Shades of Wealth. Step up your game. Step into 2015. I cannot tell you how thrilled I am that you decided to join us today. So, I mean, I'm just really, really excited about it, guys. I want to bring the rest of the gang back in here. We have Mr. Klarque Garrison, and we have Miss Renee Sunday with us. And guys, I'm thrilled. I hope you got something out of that as well.
You know, can you hear me, Barrett?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. You know, I always get something out of you. One of the things, because I'm a big procrastinator, believe it or not. I mean, there are some things that I...
You gave me a testimony, I'll remember that.
Hey, you know, I think we all have a little bit of it in us, and so we do need coaching to kick us in our assets every now and then. Because now, if I'm passionate about it, then I get it done. It's, you know, I'm on autopilot. But there are a couple of things that I just hate to do, and I always shift them to the right, you know, and I'll get to it, and it winds up affecting me or affecting my bottom line a lot. So, you know, there's to take advantage of this just makes sense.
Right, it does. I mean, it really does make sense, and I hope other people will see that the way you do, because I mean, it's something that people need to take advantage of as far as getting themselves in line with their business and stepping up their game and stepping into 2015. Because with what we're all teaching here, I absolutely love what Renee was talking about as far as moving from the rearview mirror to the windshield, because it's so important for those of us who really are serious about getting things done and moving forward. Renee, did you have anything to add on that?
Yes, the most important thing I could tell you from the bottom of my heart, you have to have a coach. You have to have someone that is, you know, actually you have to be mindful. You don't want someone that's way out there that's been doing it 60 years ago. No offense, I love parents and they have great wisdom. But with technology the way it is, you really need to have someone like Barrett that actually know hands-on what's going on in today's world. So you have to have a coach. You have to have someone to say, hey, this is not a good idea. Someone to actually to kick you in your rear to say, what is going on. So we really need to be accountable. I mean, that is very important. Me coming from the medical field and doing it sometime, and then the platform builder, you have to be focused. Like you said, I loved it when you said set goals, and then you also said write them down. You got to write it down. because that actually makes you accountable when you write it down, because somebody else going to see it. So this is a great platform that you're doing. We have to be successful, but we have to have a roadmap, and that's what you're actually giving us the opportunity to do.
Yeah, I thank you, because I mean I realize that a lot of us it's kind of the elephant in the room. No one wants to talk about the fact that we procrastinate. Klarque can admit it, because Klarque is very cerebral, and he has no problem with admitting that about himself. Most of us don't want to admit that we procrastinate on things. We love to give excuses. We love to give excuses as to why we didn't do something. Someone else's fault or something came up. And I tell people, one of the I hold meetings at my office, and I always tell people, one of the things I get all the time is that, Barrett, there was traffic out there, and I'm like, and keep in mind, guys, I live in the Washington D.C. area, but you guys live in Atlanta, so there's traffic every day. Name me a day where there isn't traffic in Atlanta. There's always traffic. So the thing is, you got to put the excuses aside, and you're gonna have to get it done anyway. So guys, I once again I want to thank you. Those of you who want to take advantage of the Success Blueprint, type in the word blueprint to 929-244-4323. That's 929-244-4323. And we're going to get you going. We're going to help you get those things going. Now, next, guys, we have the speaker of all speakers here. I was fortunate enough to have her on my radio show, Lunch and Learn with Chris and Barrett, about a month ago, and she tore it up. She was a surprise. We had Trevor Ott scheduled, and Trevor said, I got a surprise for you. And he brought on Allyson Byrd. Since then, Allyson and I have become the best of friends. I love her to death, and I got to get her some whole grain goldfish, and she knows what I'm talking about there. But she is going to come on and talk to you guys about making more money, 7 game-changing strategies to dominate your market and accelerate your profits. So, guys, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Allyson Byrd. Allyson, welcome to 50 Shades of Wealth. Step up your game. Step into 2015.
Hello. Happy Saturday. Happy New Year. Happy Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy. There's so many things to be happy about in this season. How are you, my friend, my brother from another mother?
I am great. I am great. Thank you for being here. I am so. And Allyson, I want to say thank you again, because first of all, I'm just honored to have you here. I'm very honored to have you here. And those of you who are listening, you better pay attention, take lots of notes, because this woman is a mover and a shaker. She's going to tell you all about who she is, where she came from, everything, and what she's done. But I am just honored to have you here. And I want to say thank you again, because you were a little under the weather, and I thank you for taking the time to just be a part of this. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, of course. I believe that when your friends call you and they say, I have a cause, I have a mission, I have something bigger than me, and I need you to be a part of it, you find a way to say yes. And it reminds me of the story of the little engine that could. Do you remember that story?
Oh, most definitely.
Here's what's really, really amazing, I think, about that story is when you really look and break down that story, the engine was on his way to fulfill his purpose. He was taking toys to needy children. And so the engine is carrying, Barrett, a cargo that's bigger than him, but he's doing it in spite of. He's like, I got to get to the other side. I'm imperfect. I don't know if I can bear this weight. It's greater than who I am. But I heard something inside of me say, somebody's got to get this gift to these children. How many of you that are listening can immediately relate to holding a vision, a cause, an idea that's bigger and greater than you? And you feel like the little engine that could. And so the engine, Barrett, kind of puts his way as far as he can, and then he breaks down. And when he breaks down, he sits there and says, like most of us, what do I do next? And so when he asks that question, many of us, can sometimes want something angelic and beautiful and glowing to rain down on us, and here's a solution. And that's not what happened. What happened was a big, mean train showed up, and the train said to him, hey, can you help me? You know, the little engine said, hey, can you help me to this big, bold train? And the train said, are you kidding me? Do you think I would be connected to you? Do you not notice that I'm wearing Cartier and Louboutin, and you're sitting there in your Ross dress for less and your Target special? Like, no, I will not help you. And the train showed up in judgment. And the train refused to help the little engine. And here's what was so powerful, Barrett, about that engine. That engine, while wounded, while feeling judged, while still feeling the overwhelming pressure of a vision greater, that engine still said, oh, but I think I can. See, you can judge me, you can tear me down, you can tell me I'm not good enough, you can tell me I'm not wearing the right clothes, that I don't fit in this spot and in this space, but I'm not going to let what you say about me predict my future, and I'm sure as hell not going to let it impact my vision that I know God gave me. And some of you that are listening, you can relate because somebody told you you're not enough. Somebody told you you don't fit. Somebody told you that you don't matter. Somebody told you that you don't have the right look to get where you're going. And I came to tell you today, your look doesn't matter, your heart does. And I know you may feel that you don't have the skill set or the acumen to get from where you are to where you want to be, but it's hangouts and it's trainings and it's things that Barrett has talked about and Klarque has talked about and I'm talking about with you today that will make a difference on how you rise in spite of. And so the little engine said, you know what? You don't have to help me. And he says, I just imagine, because I'm a woman of prayer, I'm a woman of faith, I'm not a woman of religion, but I am a woman of belief. I understand. I grew up with a mother. My mom was a single mom. My dad was in prison. My mom had no choice but to rise. She had two little girls looking up at her saying, when is our next meal? My jeans are now too short. My shoes are too tight. What are we going to do now? And some of you have people that are looking at you, depending on you, whether that's children or parents or even your team. You know, payroll can look at you real wide-eyed, like Bambi, you know, like eyes real big, and you're like, oh, holy smokes, what am I going to do? And it's because you have something that's bigger and greater than you. And so what's so poignant, engine says, you know what, I still think I can, but he says I think I can, but he's going nowhere. So he's got this heart, Barrett, and he's got this passion to get there, but he doesn't have a way. How many of you can relate to, I got a heart and I got a passion, but I don't have a way? Come on, you should be typing in the group right now using hashtag step up your game. I've had a heart and I've had a passion in 2014, but I didn't always have my way. So I want you to type right now in the group, I'm finding my way. I'm finding my way. I'm finding my way. Because that's what we're talking to you about today, is getting things in your hands that help you discover and find your way. See, some of you get stuck at being perfect and you don't understand that it's not about perfection, it's about progress. And when progress meets purpose, you become unstoppable. Somebody needs to type that. When progress meets purpose, I become unstoppable. That's the thing that you have to know for yourself. So you have to imagine that you're that engine that has something bigger and greater than you. You've just been judged, and now what do you do? Where do you go? Because guess what? Your engine didn't start working. Fuel didn't all of a sudden get in there. All you have is a belief and a possibility. You have faith the size of a mustard seed, but where's your water? Where's your water? What's going to help it grow? What's going to help it grow? So I want you to type right now in the group, I'm getting my water right now. This is my water moment. This is my watering moment. Because I came to pour water on your mustard seed. Because that's all you need. That's all you need. If you've never Googled a mustard seed and seen the size of it, it is minuscule. But what I know, is that while faith is not a strategy, it is a tactic of your strategy. And there's a lot of things that you need to be partnered with faith, but I guarantee you, if you put faith with 2% of your understanding, you will surge beyond 8% of the world who get stuck and not able to rise. Listen, of all the New Year's resolutions that are about to be made, only 8% of people will actually do what they said. That means 92% are going to drop out. Will you be part of the 8? I want you to tell me, Allyson, I'm in the 8. Allyson, I'm in the 8. Stepping up my game. Come on, I'm in that 8%. I just want you to be a part of your follow-through and your commitment. It's the number one thing that will make a difference from where you are today to where you desire to be. It's the number one thing. Your ability to create follow-through. You can bring me in to work with you. You can bring in Klarque to work with you. You can bring in all kinds of movers and shakers. But if you don't do the next best step for you, if you don't align the tongue in your mouth with the tongue in your shoe, you won't go anywhere, because you'll be saying one thing and you'll be doing another. Let me make this very, very clear for you, for all of you that are listening. When we want something, it shows up in our conversation. When we want something, oh, girl, I want a husband. Oh, my God, I just can't wait to have a business. Oh, my God, I'm supposed to start a nonprofit. I just got into this network marketing company, and I can't wait to blow up. It shows up in your conversation. But how many of you have started and put ideas on a restaurant napkin, and that restaurant napkin never became a business plan, never became a go-to-market strategy, never hit the market? Your book has yet to hit the shelf, and you're still whispering about who you are in the world, when literally the divine that said, "Let there be you," demands a boldness and a fierceness rise out of you. See, I'm just asking you. I just came to ask you some big questions. I'm going to give you some tips, but I can't give you tips and tools and tricks and anything until I excavate and get it out of you what is no longer working, the things that have held you hostage. I want you to type right now, "I'm breaking free." Hashtag stepping up my game. I am breaking free. This is your moment, because I came with an unapologetic assault on the things that have caused you procrastination, fear, lack, being broke, being busted, being disgusted. Some of you are making money, but you're not profitable. Do you know how many people that I meet, they have a $3 million, $5 million, $7 million empire, but can barely cover their mortgage because they're making money, but it's like a bowl with holes. It's leaking out, because they don't know how to be profitable. Some of you have an issue where you're popular. Allyson, everybody comes to me for everything. They ask me advice. They do this, they do that. So it must mean I need to start a business. Listen, baby, there's a huge distinction between popularity and profitability. And while everyone knows your name, and you're like that show Cheers, I could be dating myself, that show was on in the 80s, and every time they would walk in, everybody would yell their name. So just because I walk out and people yell my name, just because I put a Facebook post out there and people click like, listen, you can't wait for people to click like to your destiny. You can't wait for people to click like to your cause and to your vision. You have to be the first one raising your hand, saying, I vote for me, regardless. I want you to type right now in the group, I ain't waiting. And I want you to use the word ain't. It is now officially in the dictionary, by the way. And so I want you to use the word ain't. I ain't waiting on like. You got to cancel your agreement with needing to be liked, accepted, approved, wanted. You got to know that you're an unrepeatable miracle and you're necessary. And you got to stop looking to the left and the right in the disease or the dis-ease of comparison. Because if both of us are the same, come on, baby, one of us is unnecessary. See, you don't want to be like me. You want to be like you. You want to be the best version of you. And as much as I look at Beyonce, and I don't know if you guys have seen, there's been a huge story this week about Beyonce and her thigh gap. You know, there's this huge story about, is her thigh gap really real or is it airbrushed? And so she put a non-airbrushed picture on Instagram to show her thigh gap was really real. Well, I gotta say, I've been running and working out and doing everything, but I still do not have Beyonce's thigh gap. And so while I would love to have Beyonce's particular thigh gap, what I gotta know is I've earned everything that's on my body. I gotta love myself to life. I gotta love my body. I gotta love who I am. Even all the illegal mergers and acquisitions. Come on, women, you know when your body starts merging and you go, wait a minute, this is supposed to be separated from this. What's going on? It's all good. It's all good. So when you want something, it shows up in your conversation. But when you expect something, it shows up in your behaviors. See, that train didn't back up and say, you know what? This one judged me. I guess I can't do it. No one loves me. No one's here for me. No one's believing in me. The engine didn't have a woe is me. He said, you know what? He said, what? I don't know for sure, but I think I can. And so he stayed with his I think I can mentality, and here comes another train along, and the train comes, and this train is kind of meek and feeble and a little bit mild, and he says, you know, hey, can you help me? I got these toys. I gotta get them over to these kids. Can you help me, please? And he says, you know, the other train says, no, I don't think I could. And he says, no, I think you can. If you can just connect to me, we can try. And you know what the second train says? The second train says, oh, I never could. He says, I'm not strong enough. I'm not powerful enough. I'm not significant. I never could. See, sometimes when people don't help you, it's not because they don't believe in you. It's because they don't believe in them. See, he says, oh, I never could. I'm not strong enough. You know, now he's dealing with a train that doesn't have any courage, you know, resting in his imperfection. And he says, well, wait, but if you just connect to me. Now he's trying to convince him we can do it. How many of you have tried to convince people? You trying to pull people from church and pull people from community centers and, hey, if you just get in this business with me, or, hey, if we go to this course, if we go to this real estate venture, we could do this. We can flip this house or flip this business. And you're trying to convince people who have small, short-sighted thinking. And you're being convinced it's you and it's them because they're the ones inside saying, oh, I never could. I never could. I never could. You guys got to go back and read that story. It is profound because this is exactly what happens in a kid's story. And I think it's incredible that we would learn this as children, that there are people that will come along and will judge you because they are inside of their ego edging God out so they can't even see your divine mission and cause. Then there are people that would come and they would be so small and they would feel so feeble and so weak that they could never align with you. Ego does two things. It either thinks too highly of itself or it thinks too little. Ego goes both ways. So I'm asking you right now, are you willing to let go of your ego? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, Allyson, I got to hold on to my ego. It's the thing that saves me. It's the thing that, you know, it saved me when I was in the streets, or it saved me when my partner was trying to leave me and hurt me. It saved me in a failing marriage. I got to hold on to my ego. See, ego looks like protection, and it convinces us that we're protected. But the reality is we're not. There's nothing safe about resting in your ego. One, being, you know what, Allyson, I'm so complete with it. Today, I got to let go. 5, being, you know what, Allyson, I'm just unsure. I'm scared. I'm tepid. I'm tender. My heart is tender right now. It's the holiday season. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I've had some things happen to me in 2014. You don't know my story. Listen, it's okay, whatever number you're at, but in the group, I just need you to put, I'm here on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 meaning I got to hold on to it. I'm not ready to let go. 1 meaning, Allyson, I'm so complete with it. I'm breaking free in it today. 5 being in the middle, and you can choose any number in the range. But I want you to own it, and I want you to step up your game by starting right now with owning it in community, because you have to know you're not alone. See, in order for you to have a watering moment, in order for you to have someone hook their wagon onto you, they got to know where you really are. And when we know where you really are, there's no judgment, there's no shame there. It's just where you are and what's up for you. So I need you right now to tell me what's so for you. What are those numbers for you? Come on, Renee, I want to know, what's that number for you? You know, Klarque, what's that number for you? I see you guys in here chatting and having that conversation. What's real and what's so for you? So then the engine sits there, and now he says, well, wait a minute. Now 2 trains have gone, and the little engine starts to doubt his own faith. Maybe I need more. Maybe it's true. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I don't have enough business education. Maybe, see, I think about that for myself, because that's what I thought. I thought, wait a minute, I dropped out of high school when I was 15 years old. Then I finally went back, graduated when I was, when I went back at 19, graduated when I was 20. Then I went to college. Then I said, I got a great job. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go do this job, and maybe I should have stayed in college. I mean, maybe it does matter. Maybe I am going to be a statistic because my dad was in prison and my mom was a single mom. So, okay, now, I dated this guy, and he's doing bad things in the world, and maybe I should be like him, and maybe I should do that, and my sister just went and got a job at the phone company, and she's gonna work there, and she's got good benefits. Maybe I need to go where benefits are. Maybe this thing called the skinny branch doesn't make sense. That's what I started to think for myself. I don't know about you, but when people won't help you and you can't find your right tribe and you can't find your right community, what starts to happen for you is you start to doubt yourself. So I imagine that the little engine just sat there and said, well, what do I do now? And he said, you know what? I can't let go. I can't do it. I can't let go. And he says, I think I got one more I think I can inside of me. I think I got one more. So he says, I think I can. So he's sitting there trying to figure out what is he going to do. And all of a sudden, here comes this little putt-putt engine, and looking almost as sad and as as weak as he is. And this little engine shows up, and he says, well, I love this because the little engine shows up, and he says, well, what are you going to go do? And this is what's so poignant and so prolific about it, is that the engine says to the other engine, what is your cause? If you tell me what you're really up for, then maybe I can connect with you. See, you're in the right tribe when people start asking you the question, what are you about? That's when you know you're in the right tribe. What are you about? And he says, oh, you know, I've got this mission. I got to get these toys over to these kids, and they're waiting on me. And so the engine says, you got kids waiting on you? He says, yeah, I got all these toys in the back, and we got to get them over there. They're waiting. And he says, you know what? I think I can help you. And they link their wagons onto one another. I'll never forget President Barack Obama saying, when you hitch your wagon onto something greater than you, then you know you realize your universal cause and mission, because you're not isolated in it anymore. Let me be clear. Some of you aren't moving forward because you've been judged, because other people have left you behind, and you stop trusting others just because somebody didn't get it. And I want you to break free today. I want you to type in the group one more time, I'm breaking free, I'm breaking free, I'm breaking free. Hashtag step up your game. Some of you aren't moving forward because you are now the one in judgment. You are now the one in fear. And you are now the one refusing to hitch your wagon onto something bigger and greater than you are. You're the one stuck in your ego. I asked you to rank yourself. Tell me what your number is. You got to let it go. You got to be willing to let it go. See, before I can tell you, all right, this is what you need to do to have a go-to-market strategy. Everything you touch is connected to success. You know, all those different things. You got to release those negative thoughts and those conversations that hold you back. And so together, they hitch their wagons and they start the chant, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And they get to the other side. Today, in this moment, I want you on fire with your I think I can. Because I think I can turns into I know I can. And from I know I can, now you get to celebrate it's done. But you cannot get to I know I can if you're short-sighted at I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I don't know if it's ever going to be real. I don't think I have enough money. I don't have the right ideas. I don't have the right partners. I don't have it. If you're stuck in that stinking thinking and in those excuses, you cannot move forward with power. See, I've become one of the best high-paid performance coaches and trainers in the world, and my programs have set a standard in teaching entrepreneurs how to build a bridge between the gap of their passion, their purpose, and a paycheck that they love, not because I had all the answers, but because I had a I think I can. See, I didn't always have an I know I can. I had to start it, I think I can. See, I hunt for the unstoppable. I attract the unstoppable. I demand the unstoppable. See, I lay out raw meat for the one who says I'm hungry for something I've never known, never had, and yet what I know for sure is that it's in my birthright, and I got a responsibility to have it. When I get on platforms like this, it's not about me. I don't do this work to hype you up or to chest pound or to create a rah-rah rally. What value would that be? See, my reason for being on with you right now and in this moment is to position tools that you need to build a strategic plan that challenges you to rise, to find your I think I can, into your I know I can, into your celebration of I've done it. See, the thing that gets me all the time is that when I look at everything that I've walked through, from a failed college career to fired jobs to, you know, the list could just go on and on. I love what Jay-Z said. Jay-Z said, don't look at my successes, look at my failures. You'll learn more looking there. Why? because many things can shut you down, but you've got to find your rise. See, Jay-Z said that in, I think it was, 1998. But Dale Carnegie told Napoleon Hill that in the early 1900s. He said to Napoleon Hill when he was writing what became Think and Grow Rich, he said, listen, Dale, when you talk to Ford, when you talk to me, when you talk to the movers and shakers of the world today, don't ask them about why they're so successful. Ask them about every moment in which they failed. Because when you can understand how people overcame personal fears and past failures and self-limiting thoughts and circumstances, no community, wrong community, thinking there's time, questioning their ability, cynicism, jealousy, anger, haters, success of others, private doubts, will I really do it? Learning how to move from waiting on God to knowing that the promise is already there and you get to move and effortlessly flow in a promise that has already been spoken over your life. When you get around people where you get to ask them a question, don't you dare ask them a pretty question. Ask them, what was it like for you when you were in the mud of your destiny? When you were in the pit of your fears? What stopped you from getting to your next level, and what was the 1 degree of shift and change that you needed to make? When you ask questions like that, then you get the juice. You really get the opportunity to get the connectivity, the power out of people, out of teachers. See, I love what Wayne Dyer says. Abundance is not something we acquire. It is something that we tune into. So if you want to look at what is one of the first things that I would say will help you have a game-changing strategy to making more money, you got to be unreasonable. See, number one, that train was unreasonable in thinking it could carry a cargo that big anyway. See, some of you, your vision is so massive and so huge, you are pretty darn crazy just thinking you can do it. See, when I started with a conference line. Let me back up for a second. I had a vision that I wanted to inspire women. I hadn't yet expanded to the fact that I could impact humanity, and that it had nothing to do with who was a man, who was a woman. It wasn't gender specific. It wasn't racial specific. It wasn't religious specific. It was humanity, that I had a calling and a cause and anointing big enough to stretch across the globe, that it wasn't remanded or downsized to where it could only be in Texas where I was, or in San Antonio, or on the east side of San Antonio where I grew up. I had to really start looking at, how do I 10x this dream that I see? Because I can only see so far. So how do I start seeing bigger? That's a question I want you to write down right now. How can I begin seeing bigger? So this train was already unreasonable in seeing this massive vision, but yet he still took it on and said, you know what, pile up the toys, load them up, I'll get them there. See, when you decide to be unreasonable, that's number one to changing the game. When you decide to be unreasonable, here's why his I think I can was there. He was like, I've already got it inside of me. It's already in my belly. I'm already committed to the journey. Some of you want to be committed when you get there, but you don't want to be committed on the way. See, you want to be committed in the limo ride, but you don't want to be committed on the bus stop. Come on, break free. That's the thing. That's the beauty that I want you to get. You're on the bus stop of your destiny right now, but your limo ride is less than 10 steps away. But your only way to get there is to be unreasonable. It's your only way to get there. So what does it look like for you to be unreasonable? I want you to think about that right now. Think about, okay, Allyson is telling me to be unreasonable. What is the one thing that I could do that would blow my own mind, that would make me go, wait a minute, Can I really do it? See, I have a client right now for 2015, and I'm flying to go meet with them in January, and a part of me doesn't want them to sign the contract because they scare me so much that I literally start to get pee running down my leg. I mean, I get that nervous because their name is so big, their brand is so big, and the fact that they're allowing my agency to take them on as a client, I just feel like, how could this be real? I'm being unreasonable in going, even when I was having the conversation. I'm being unreasonable, and it makes me nervous. I'll never forget Iyanla Van Zant telling me in a mentoring session that we had, Iyanla said, baby girl, listen, I don't want you just on the edge. I don't want you on the tipping point. I don't want you on the edge. She goes, I want you on that place called the bleeding edge. I said, what's the bleeding edge? She said, the bleeding edge is that place that you get to where it scares you so badly. And if you've never heard the story of Jesus where he's in the Garden of Gethsemane right before he's about to be crucified, and he begins to sweat blood. Now, I know for some of you, you think, well, Allyson, I'm just trying to, start this little business over here to make a couple of dollars, or I'm just trying to start this nonprofit over here, or I just got into this nonprofit to bring some extra income. I don't know what you mean about the bleeding edge. Listen, the bleeding edge may not be about money for you. It may be about your marriage. It may be about you being unreasonable in your marriage, unreasonable in your parenting. Maybe your sister or your brother or your cousin or your uncle or your auntie needs you to be unreasonable for them. And you have said, I have done it for the last time. That is it. See, I know we're having a conversation about wealth and about creating money, and some of you need to bring up the bottom line of love, understanding, acceptance, joy, peace, power, grace, hope, freedom. You need to bring that bottom line up. See, you're in the red, you're in deficit in your own heart space. So your place of being unreasonable, the thing that may be causing you and calling you to sweat to a place where you go, Allyson, I just don't know if I can. I just don't know if I can do it again. I don't know if I can forgive again. I don't know if I can love harder. I don't know if I can be more. I don't know if I can expect more in that place because I got let down way too hard and way too fast. See, your business is always a reflection in many ways and in every way of how you do life. If you are in scarcity or lack or deprivation in money, I guarantee you somewhere you are that way inside of your life. Doesn't mean you don't have love. Doesn't mean you don't have joy. Please don't take what I'm saying in totality. And please understand that what I'm saying, you don't have to 100% agree with. Listen, remember, I don't need you to click like on my box. I'm sharing to you from my truth. And what is for you will be for you, and what is not does not have to be. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with one thing I say making a difference for you. I don't need all 7 game-changing strategies to hit home for you. If one can make a significant difference from where you are to where you know you are destined to be, and you can take action today as a result, well, that's more than enough. That excites me. Because it's all about stepping up your game, and stepping up your game begins one step at a time. Number 1, be unreasonable. Be unreasonable. Number 2, I think I must be starting like the B attitudes of selling maybe, but it's another B. So number 2, I want you to be unapologetic in how you price and how you put yourself out there in the market. Here's the thing, you know, when I meet people that are in real estate or network marketing, or they own a brick and mortar, a chiropractic care center, acupuncture center, they're hairstylists, you know, some things are hard fixed. But what I realize is I just got through working with a financial planner. And so, you know, their rates are fixed, right? So she can't charge more. There's an ethics code on how she does business. But here's what we discovered. Inside of her pursuit for business, she was only going for clients who had a certain range of revenue and a certain range of wealth, and she was intentionally staying under the $750,000 mark. So she was helping people between $300,000 and $750,000. When I asked her, what about your high wealth profiles, you know, clients that were 7 figures, 8 figures, she said, oh, well, you know, I'm not working with them right now. I said, well, what's the difference in skill set that's required for you to be able to have those high wealth clients and to bring that profile into your firm? She said, well, I have one. And I said, well, what does it require of you? Do you not want to do it because it takes too much time? Does it? And she said, actually, he's probably my easiest client. And so I said, wait a minute, you mean to tell me that your easiest client is giving you the most money and you only have one? See, when I'm talking to you about being unapologetic in your pricing, what I realized was that she was staying in a place where she felt worthy and comfortable. But see, comfort is aligned with convenience. And when you're in a place of convenience, you are not operating in a place of being unapologetic and a place of conviction. See, when we look at, you know, I think the numbers are somewhere around, you know, still so many people. I was trying to remember the exact statistic of people that are still going hungry just in the U.S. alone, not to mention across the globe. And you're trying to tell me that you're comfortable making the money that you're making right now, that's just enough just because your family is taken care of? What about your global assignment? See, I came to talk to the world savers, the history makers, the titans for transformation, the gladiators for greatness, the ones who say, I got to move money in the right direction. My money has to make a difference. See, I want you to type in the group right now, I am a money mover. I am a hashtag money mover, hashtag step up your game. So you got to step up your game by becoming a money mover. And being a money mover begins when you are unapologetic in your pricing, knowing that your pricing is never reflective of your worth. Your worth is connected to the value and contribution in which you bring. Number 3, if you want to be a game changer, you have to inspire objections. When you're recruiting people into your business or you're taking people out and showing them what you have to offer and who you be, and you really want to expand your revenue, you've got to inspire objections with people. And what it looks like to inspire objections is to know ahead of their thinking. What is the thing that would stop them from saying yes? And you already know the answer to that, because people have told you no time and time and time again. So if you look at, I'm going to be unreasonable, I'm going to be unapologetic, and now I'm going to inspire objections, this is a pretty bold, demanding conversation you start having with your clients. See, when you start inspiring objections, what happens for you is you start to ask questions that lead people to reflect for you. What's really up for you? Is now the time? Because if now isn't the time, let's talk about it. Here's the thing. There's time and there's money that generally stops people. So when you start inspiring it, the conversation looks like this. Listen, Joan, generally people say no to this opportunity because they're concerned about time, and they're concerned about whether or not they can really afford it or whether or not they'll be able to earn X, X, and X, or whatever that objection may be, however it may occur for you. And so I want to talk to you about it right now so that I can give you the answers. I've been in this business for 18 years, and so I already know how you can overcome that. Are those two things that you are already thinking about? See, when you start inspiring objections, what happens for you is that you take command and you take charge of the conversation. And when you take command and you take charge, you become the navigator. Number 4 is you must always be the navigator of the conversation. See, you cannot wait for people to lead you to the place where they decide to stroke a check for you. That is one of the key and most critical failing points that you can have inside of your business. Let me say that to you again. Your client is never going to lead you across the finish line to stroke a check with you. If you are waiting on that, you will be waiting forever and your business will fail. Waiting for your client to lead you to the promised land of payment is not only the worst idea, it's the #1 idea that will keep you broke and hustling from one deal to the next. You've got to be the navigator. Number 5, you got to change the way you view profit. So when you're looking, it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in. You're a freelancer, you're an entrepreneur, you're a small business owner, you're a CEO of a major conglomerate. That doesn't matter. You got to change how you view profit. See, most people look at profit as what's left over. So they say, this is the money we make, this is what we spend, profit is what's left over. Listen, if you want to accelerate in your profit, you got to put profit first. So this is the money that we make. This is the profit that we take out. These are the expenses. Now I control my spending based on what's left, but I already got profit. I take my company first into the black. See, some of you are having breakdown, not all of you, but some of you are lacking clarity and direction and next best step simply because you put profit last. You got to put profit first. So if you want to accelerate in your revenue, if you really want to be unapologetic, if you really want to be the demand for success in your life, you got to put profit first. I'm just telling you that one key to being powerful in selling and in building your business is to understand the key elements that must be inside of you and inside of the setup and the function of your business. Otherwise, you will self-sabotage and back yourself up from making and creating greater revenue. So in a few minutes, I'm going to share with you about a brand new 5-week program that I have that starts in January. And these are the kinds of conversations that we're having. Because I want you identifying what's keeping the finish line ahead of you, but keeping you on the opposite side of it. I want you shifting in how you communicate with the client to drive them forward toward your desired action. So number 6, you have to own clarity. Clarity of what you offer, clarity on your service, your product, your deliverables, clarity on the service fulfillment timeline, clarity on the result that you want for the client. Clarity during any selling process keeps you from manipulating and coercing during selling. See, your role is to be the navigator. So you're to guide the client to the next best step that is for them. You have to be willing to be a stand for the client. Sometimes what breaks us down in accelerating our profit is that we're thinking conversations like, okay, what are they going to say? What when I was younger, I would ask my uncles for some money, and they would go, oh, baby girl, I don't have any money for that. And I would say, I just saw you put some money in your pocket. And they would say, don't count my money. See, sometimes we miss opportunities because what? We're counting the money of someone else. We're counting how much we think they have, and we're counting how much we think they don't have. We got to let that go. We got to let that go. Number 7, stop being average. Stop being average. I can't shoulder anyone justifying playing small. If you're going to come in the market, be bold about it. If you're going to make a difference, make a difference. But come on, make a bold splash, make a lot of noise. Create and make a massive difference. We've been waiting on you, and then you just want to come and whisper that you're here. Hey guys, I'm here. I got this great product. You know, I got this great program. Yeah, I'm a realtor. I can do that for you, absolutely. You want to be the jack of all trades, the master of none? See, when I talk to you about being unreasonable, that's a place of moving from breakdown to breakthrough to breakout. When I talk to you about moving from average into extraordinary, one of the greatest breakdowns that I experience with entrepreneurs that blocks their revenue is the constant need to fit in and to color within the lines. There is zero value in being a repeat of another. I'm going to say it again. If both of us are the same, one of us is unnecessary. I'm going to give you a couple of questions that I want you to walk through. And this is going to be your homework as a result of today. But before I do, I want to tell you that I have made a commitment to not leave entrepreneurs behind. I have made a commitment to be a stand with you and for you. Regardless if you are in superstardom in your business, Allyson, I'm doing really well. I just need to discover a new way of being profitable. I need a new revenue line. I'm excited about new things that are on the horizon. I just don't know how to get there. See, it's not about you not knowing the number that you want. It's about the navigation of how do I get to that number, and how do I get it with the leanest way possible, and how do I get it quicker, sooner, and faster. If you think that your way to profitability is selling and selling and selling and selling and selling, you are going to exhaust yourself in business. You do have to keep cash flow coming in. And then you've got to manage that cash flow by changing the way that you view profit. Maybe you're in struggle. Allyson, I'm hurting. You're like me when I started my business. 8 months later, I was so broke, I was on food stamps. I was hiding in the food stamp office, wearing a wig, putting on shades, didn't want people to know. Because I thought, good God, if anybody saw me, I don't know, did I think that the lady from the chamber of San Antonio was going to be in the food stamp office? I don't know, but I was nervous. And I was in a place of struggle, and struggle produces shame. Shame produces guilt, and guilt produces fear. And what happens to you is what happened to me, and I began to hide. And when I began to hide, guess what? If I'm hiding to myself, my client sure as hell can't see me. Or maybe you're in startup. I'm just now beginning. I don't know what I don't know. I don't know the questions to ask. I know I got a big vision. I got a big dream. I got toys in the back. I'm ready to hitch my wagon onto something bigger. If you're just coming on, I told a story earlier about the little engine that could. Wherever you are in the journey, this program is designed to facilitate you to exactly where you need to be. Now, I am I'm one that goes for a conversation specifically around money. There are 4 major elements of your business. Write that down. Operations, marketing, sales, and finance. My conversation for you is directly around selling. So I'm going to talk to you about systemization and automation around selling, reducing your buying cycle, increasing your attraction to your client, finding that ideal client and partner that's right for you. You could be in network marketing, you could be a freelancer, you could be a CEO, you could be in a myriad of places. And I made it easy and I made it reachable. My clients coach with me one-on-one, anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. And every year that we're together, that's a $25,000 investment. Every year that we're together. Minimum. That doesn't include training of their team, doesn't include, site visits or things like that. But what I realize is I had a group of emerging and rising entrepreneurs who needed support, who looked like me, talked like me, sounded like me, thought like me. And when I came out, I did not have $25,000 to give anyone. I barely had enough money to get a dollar menu, something on the dollar menu at McDonald's. And those of you that hate McDonald's, don't bash me on that, but that was my reality. And so I created something. Remember I said to you earlier, your pricing doesn't reflect your worth, your value does. I created something to meet you where you are. It's $49 a week. 5 weeks. We're together the first 5 Saturdays in January. The first Saturday, we are on for 1 hour. The second Saturday, we are on for 1 hour. The third Saturday, we are on for 4 hours. 4 hours. Listen, we're rolling up our sleeves and we're doing the work. I want you to imagine if you were clear on your revenue streams, you knew where all your money was going to come from. You could pick up all that money that was on the table. I want you to imagine 6 months out where you're maximizing profits by working on your business, not just in it. See, I want you to think about creating magic, living in your passion, and getting out of your own way, hitting those goals, and being free of mental blocks that have stopped you. What if, you guys, what if you really lived your big assignment and you really started making big profits? What if that happened? What if you could really own your power and have powerful selling conversations that converted? What if you could stop chasing people? Oh, how exhaustive is that? What if you could stop chasing people and begin attracting the client that's been waiting on you? And what if you could inspire objections to be 3 steps ahead and navigate them to the yes that they've been waiting for? So the first Saturday, we do a 1-hour session. It's called The Power of Intention, Creating a Money Mindset Revolution. The second Saturday, I'm teaching on averages for sissies. It's time to maximize prestige, purpose, and profits. The third Saturday, I want you to stop winning and I want you to start dominating. See, I want you stomping into the market. I want people knowing who you are, why you are. I don't care if you've got the latest Snuggie invention. I don't care if you've got the latest widget or gadget. I don't care if you're a real estate representative inside of a sea of a million real estate agents. I don't care. Find your lane to dominate. That's up to you. You can't wait for somebody to give you permission to thrive. We're going to be working 4 hours together there. 4. The next Saturday, Sell or Be Sold, the science of converting conversations into cash. This is about your scripting and knowing a consistent way to predict your conversation so that you can predict the outcome. So once you know what you're saying and you create it consistently and you create a continuity to it, you can actually predict how people will convert and play with you. And then lastly, we're going to go deeper into what it looks like to script your brilliance even more, because I want you knowing what to say to close the deal again and again and again. We're 7 days away from the start. You get to make payments at $49 a week. Listen, I created that not because that's the value of what I'm worth. Even when my clients pay me $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 on my sales agency side, still not what I'm worth. I need you to understand something, that this program is not for everyone. I mean, you know, it really is about those who are saying, I need something different. I need to find my money. I need a rinse and repeat revenue model. I want to build my direct sales, my network marketing team. I want to dominate in whatever industry I'm in. I want to master my core message and monetize it. I want to know how to properly script myself, my team, so that I can do corporate selling, maybe build a robust sponsorship package. I want to develop price a product, a program, something that the market is hungry for. This is for people that have been suffering in a business cycle that's underperforming, and you're underworked, and you know it's time for you to shift. If you can say, yes, I've got a business, I've got a ton of passion, but I'm not clear on my next steps, then you know it's for you. If you can say yes to, I'm doing a lot of social media, Allyson, tweeting, Facebook, pinning, emails, but I'm not making the money that I need, then you know it's for you. If you can say, yes, I feel like I've taken myself as far as I can go, and I need someone to push me forward, then you know it's for you. If you can say, I have big dreams and big goals, and I need an action plan to get from where I am to where I want to be, then it's for you. If you can say, Allyson, your voice doesn't just inspire me, but it coaches me and it teaches me and it compels me forward, then you know it's for you. So in order for you to register, you can go to the number 5weekprofitplan.com. $49 a week. I make it very easy, reachable, and affordable for you. 5weekprofitplan.com. 5weekprofitplan.com. Registration is open now, and we have people already from the UK, from Canada, from Jamaica, from the Bahamas. We have people from New Zealand, from Australia. We have people from California, from Texas, from right down the street from my home, from all over, because they're grabbing their mocha, their laptops. No makeup, no pants are mandatory. We're just going to be together for the first 5 Saturdays in January. 5weekprofitplan.com. I created it just for you. So if it's for you, and if it's for someone that you know, please feel free to share it. I'm excited that we get to put that into the market because I know that people need it. I'm obsessed about supporting entrepreneurs in a big, bold, and bad way. I love what Jim Rohn said. He said that he told his mentor, if I had more money, I would have a better plan. And his mentor responded and said, I would suggest that if you had a better plan, you would have more money. See, it's not the amount that counts. It's the plan that counts. So if you need a profit plan to make a difference for you and for your business, I have that for you at 5weekprofitplan.com. I want to close with this. Number one, I told you I would give you a couple of questions to evaluate yourself, and then I'm going to close with just a short story. The questions that I want you to ask yourself is, what do I have that's unique and powerful that I bring to the table? Because when you're able to answer that, you're able to articulate that. What are the top 3 ways that I can express that difference verbally and written so that people can really get me? When you're able to answer that, you change your marketing materials. And by doing that, you reduce your buying cycle because people can read about you, they can read your website, they can read your Facebook posts, all those different things, and guess what? They buy. I want you to evaluate what is your monthly goal and how can you add just 1 0 to that. See, if you're currently making $200 a month, what would it look like to add a 0 to get to $2,000? If you're making $2,000 a month, what would it look like to add a 0 and get to $20,000? If you're making $20,000, what would it look like to add just 1 0? See, that's how I grew my business 810%. Was I just looked for 1 0. Just 1. See, it's not about huge, gargantuan, overwhelming steps. It's about 1. In order for you to push past where you stopped before, to laser on a goal with more focus and gain more ground toward reaching it, to shift from limiting beliefs that have stopped you and create a tangible shift in your mindset, your behavior, and your actions, to say yes and yes again to bigger and bigger and bolder things, and maintain your peace of mind while doing it. You've got to identify and answer questions like this, because it helps you say, what does that look like? And you can visualize it. So the last thing that I want to say to you is, I think about my nephew. He's 13 years old now, and we just had a meeting because he is extraordinary at basketball. I mean, he is just incredible. And we had a meeting. I called one of my friends and colleagues who has gotten several people into the NBA and coached them into that space. And I called him, and I called my sister, who is my nephew's mother, and his father. And I said, listen, guys, we've got a LeBron on our hands. And, a Kevin Durant. We've got we're in San Antonio, so we've got a Tim Duncan, a David Robinson, we've got a Magic Johnson. We've got a Michael Jordan. We've got an incredible player on our hands. What are we going to do? And so we decided that we were going to get together for my nephew, and we were going to create a life plan. So we got my nephew, we went to breakfast, and for 3 hours we had a meeting just about my nephew. He was there, and we interviewed him. What do you want? What do you desire? How do you want to get there? You're 13 years old. Let's practice being self-expressed about the difference that you want to make in the world. And if you play basketball, why would you do it? And if you acquired wealth at this level, what would you do with that money? What would you do if you got an injury and you lost your ability to play? What would your next level of passion be inside of? And how can we support you? What do you need to hear when you're down? What breaks your heart? What scares you about hearing your name in the same lineage as LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant? What scares you? We had a candid conversation for 3 hours. We mapped out who he would train with for AAU and club ball. We mapped out what private school he would go to and how we would share the cost as a family. We mapped out where what camps he would go to, what was critical for him to do on the East Coast, where ball is more intensive there, and we want him playing with better players so that he can step up his game, and so he won't be a big fish in a small pond. We mapped out where he's going to get his private training on a daily basis so that his speed, his agility could be up, and what he would do in the off season. Would he run track, or would he play football, or what would he do so that he could keep his health up and that he could also stay safe in the process, because we're building a giant. See, I never had anyone do that for me. And I'm sure most of you that are listening never had anyone build a life plan for you. At 13 years old, to have someone say, I believe in you, I believe in your dream, and you can have anything that you want. And as long as you stay coachable, as long as you keep your grades up, as long as you stay committed, we are here for you. Regardless, we're going to be here for you. But this is how you actualize a dream. See, many of us didn't grow up with that. But just because we didn't grow up with it doesn't mean we cannot accept and receive it now. When you have people like Barrett and Chris and Klarque and myself and Renee, and we come on a Saturday on the holiday weekend, and we share our story and we share our truth, and it's us saying, what's your life plan? It's not enough to just want something more. You gotta expect it. Because want can only be in the thing that you're chatty about, but expectation shows up inside of your behaviors. My nephew dribbles and dribbles, and we say, listen, you cannot play on concrete anymore. So he walks up to the gymnasium so that he can make sure he has to get there early enough so that he can walk back early enough, or he's got to communicate with his dad so that he can get a ride, so that he can protect his knees and his joints, because he's 13 years old. And, you know, we estimate, okay, if you're going to be playing until the age of 34, 35, and then you're going to go into coaching or whatever that story looks like for you, you got to protect yourself now on the front end. So he does all he can to up his game, to get his dribble right, his jump shot, his, you know, master those three-pointers, and, you know, get his defense up, and, you know, all the things about basketball that I just don't understand. But he works hard, and I scream, and I take tons of videos at the game. My point to you is, it doesn't matter what hasn't happened to you or for you up until now. See, when I look at my life, and I look at today, where I have an outreach into the millions across the globe, I'm one of the most well-respected sales teachers and mentors out there, and I'm connected to some of the greatest people in thought leadership. I can't help but think about the little girl who was molested and abused, who was abandoned by her dad. You know, he got out of prison, never came for me. Broke my heart, made me sad, made me think I was unwanted and unlovable. Then I dropped out of high school, lost my sense of self, got into work and got fired, and then started a business and failed and failed. I mean, God, what kind of success story was I creating? What kind of dreams was I going to make real? But then today, internationally recognized best-selling author, you know, led an amazing sales team for world-renowned Lisa Nichols to grow her organization and back-of-the-room sales by 1,081%, with global outreach to over 38 million. On a Saturday, here with you right now, speaking to you, calling you higher, only because I'm standing on my story, I'm not in it. See, all those things happened to me, but now change and transformation are moving through me. I get you didn't have someone sitting with you for your life plan then, but we're sitting here with you and for you now. The question is, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to be the man that you know in your heart you've been destined to be, but you just didn't know how? Are you ready to pull up on your courage one more time? Are you ready to be the woman that you've seen in the mirror, and you've seen other women look like her, sound like her, and yet you know you've got something distinctively different? Oprah ain't got nothing on you, baby. And you know it. Are you ready? It is time for you to step up your game and rise. I am not speaking to you from a position or a place of judgment, or even from the mountaintop saying, oh, it's hella good up here, it sucks to be down there. Listen, on any given Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I don't know where I'm going to be in my own thinking. But what I know for sure is whenever I fall, I'm going to get up. I'm going to find a way. And whenever my mental zip code goes through a dark alley, a corridor of uncertainty, of overwhelm, of self-doubt, I'm going to find my bravery. I'm going to find my wildness again. And I'm going to declare, Allyson Octavia Byrd, this is your time, girl. You better get up. You are unstoppable. And I know it hurts right now, and I know that branch broke, but this is time for you not to have faith in the branch, but girl, you better fly. And sometimes I have started flying when my feet were skidding on the pavement. As you step from 2014 into 2015, don't keep jumping. off of a curb and calling it a leap. It's time for you to really embrace your hinds feet and go up to the high places and soar from a mountaintop so you can really feel the wind beneath your wings. I speak to you that you would have an unstoppable 2015. For those of you that are going to be with me in the 5weekprofitplan.com, welcome. I'm excited. I want you in. I committed to come and reach you. For those of you that are choosing to play with Barrett and Chris and Klarque and Renee and the things that they offered, I celebrate you because we work together not in competition but in complement, because we're all a part of a movement to see you reach your highest and your best self. I love you. I'm a stand for you. I'm your sister in the journey in love, peace, and prosperity. I'm wishing you a happy new year, and I can't wait to be with you again. All right, Barrett, back over to you.
All right, so I am truly just blown away. You've done it again. I mean, I'm not surprised, but you did it again. I'm blown away. You should see all the comments we were getting while you were talking. It was just amazing. We were getting so many people commenting that they loved you. People who want you to coach them. We've had so much coming in about you talking, and it was funny because those of you who don't know this, Allyson asked me how much time does she have. You think I'm going to put a time limit on her? No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity, and for those that want to be, connected to me, and I always talk about being unstoppable. Go to unstoppable2015.com, unstoppable2015.com, and I've got a free gift for you there. So you can go there, and it'll connect you, so you'll know what's going on, what I have coming up. You'll be connected to the tribe and to the community. So I'm just really so honored, Barrett, and really grateful that you say yes and yes again to your purpose. And I got to thank Trevor that he brought me another business bestie that I could enjoy 2015 with.
Yeah, and then hopefully Trevor feeling better. I know he was under the weather well, he still is. I talked to him this morning, but he's getting better. You and he and Della Toro and Shay, y'all didn't invite me to dinner, but that's okay. But
don't say that.
I'm playing with you. I'm playing. But we're definitely honored to have you as part of the 50 Shades of Wealth event. I know I think we lost Klarque there for a second there. Renee, did you have anything you wanted to add here?
Woo, I love your energy, Allyson. You're very cool. I was up here shouting. I said, look at go girl, go girl. I really love your stories. I really have taken so many notes. I really appreciate you taking time out on this Saturday and just really speaking into our lives. And I really appreciate it. And I always love to say this. Thank you for being in your purpose, because you actually help us be in our purpose. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sis. Thank you so much. Wow.
And Klarque, did you want to add anything? Klarque just came back.
Well, it just that I'm always blown away when I hear Allyson speak. I'm a huge fan from afar, and I've watched your journey for many years, and it's a pleasure just to be on this panel with you. And you are awesome. You're adorable.
Oh, thank you, Klarque. I don't know that I've been called adorable, but I'm going to take that into 2015 with me. I'm going to own that.
Allyson, for a good period there, I was Klarque's de facto booking agent because I was getting guests for his radio shows. So I told him I'm going to work on getting you on his radio show as a guest.
Well, he's got the secret weapon to get me to say yes to anything. So.
I would love it. It would be an honor. It would be an honor.
Don't put that out there. If you ask, don't put that out there, Barrett, that if you ask me, I always say yes. Do not tell people you're the secret weapon.
You just said it. So Not too much of a secret now, huh? But I want to also tell you that my lovely, talented, and gifted co-host Chris Bridges of Lunch and Learn with Chris and Barrett on Survival Radio Network Fridays says to give you all of her love. You see her down at the bottom of the screen now. Chris had another event today, so we wanted to. She's blowing you kisses. But yeah, so she's in her car now, so she wanted to. Oh, she's blowing kisses back. Isn't that lovely? But I gotta tell you, Allyson, I want a couple things that I took away from it, and one of you is a saying that I have. Mine's a little different, but it says if you got two people that agree on everything, one of them isn't necessary. So I really resonate with that one, and I love the I ain't waiting on like. I love that. I'm not waiting on anybody to like me. I need to just go ahead and do it myself. I love that. I love it. So, Allyson, one more time, could you please tell the people how to get in touch with you if they want to take you up on your offer?
Yeah, I would say, go to 5weekprofitplan.com, the number 5weekprofitplan.com. And if you are not following me on Twitter or connected with me, on Facebook, then go to @Allyson Byrd on Twitter, ALLYSON and BYRD. So follow me and connect with me on Twitter, and I'm at Allyson Byrd on Facebook, on Instagram. But I just want to be connected with you, and we create so many great things just for you. We've got a wonderful new series that's coming in 2015, Evenings with Allyson Byrd. I'll be doing some evening sessions and, really be around the seduction and beauty of selling. Because I think if you learn how to embrace your sensuality, your sexuality, your personal power as a man and as a woman, then you can really encourage people to go forward and do bigger things with you. And so I'm going to be talking about that. And it's going to be a really great, disruptive, sexy conversation. So I invite you to follow us on Twitter at Allyson Byrd, and we've got great things in store. So come play with us over there, 5weekprofitplan.com.
All right, Allyson Byrd bringing sexy back. All right. We want to just have closing comments. Renee, did you want to have any closing comments?
Well, I just want to say thank you, Barrett, for just the vision, just having us together, and I just love the panelists. I've learned so much from each of you guys, and like I always say, everybody, and Allyson said it wonderfully. Hey, watch out, Allyson. I may put that in my speech, but she said it so.
You can have it. You can have it.
That we actually need to be in our purpose. We need to. If we're the same, somebody's not necessary. I love that. But we have to remember that we all have a purpose, and we all have a calling, a reason that we're here right now. And, like I always say, we just got to don't stop. We got to get it. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
All right. Klarque?
I just want to say, don't stop yourself. Stop limiting your thoughts. And it's such a pleasure. And I posted in the group, what better place to be and what better thing to do on a Saturday morning than sit and listen to such inspiring speakers and get nuggets, which will most certainly take you into 2015 on a prosperous journey. So thank you for letting me be a part of this, sir.
And I want to see it. I don't know if we can hear it. Chris, can you talk? I want to see you real quick. Can you say something?
Hey, Barry, can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear. Go, Chris.
Hey, everybody. Well, I just wanted to let you know that I'm loaning Barrett out to you all today. Normally, I'm selfish, and I like to keep him to myself, but I think he put together an awesome, powerful team. Yes, I'm looking on the road so I don't get in an accident, but he brought together. You all are phenomenal. I wish I had been with you from the beginning, but I will go back and watch the link. I just thank you all for sharing your gifts, your talents, and more importantly, though, really your encouragement to others. And we're going into another year, and let's not bring that old stuff that we've done or not done. Let's go into next year with some real intention, and I'm sure that's what you all gave today. So I thank you all so much, and just make it intentional to live on top and have all the best that you all deserve. Everyone deserves. So I love you guys, and I'm sorry I wasn't with you, but go back to you, Barrett.
All right. And Allyson, did you have anything you want to close with?
Oh, I just want to wish everyone an incredible 2015. You know, 2015, I believe, is going to be the year where, you know, people are not finding their voice. I think 2014 was a great proving ground. I think that 2015 is the year that we master and we really, you know, learn that and walk in the truth of being successful, powerful, profitable, necessary, and being the demand for the things that we want. It's not enough to want it.
Oh, I think we froze up there a little bit, Allyson.
Can't wait to see you on the other side.
There you go. All right. Now I want to say thank you for everybody who was on the broadcast. We will be sending out a replay of it. Please share it with your friends. Join our Facebook group, 50 Shades of Wealth. I want to have everybody join the Facebook group. And I wanted my closing comment. I was just talking online with one of my coaches, Jasmine O'Day, and Allyson. I got to get you two together because you're both in Texas. But the thing is, one of the things that she was saying to me is that, you know, it wasn't going to be easy, but it's worth it. And the thing is, guys, those of you who are listening, you're going to run into obstacles. You're going to run into roadblocks, but you got to fight through it. Because, see, the thing is that I've always lived by is that adversity is inevitable, but stress is optional. You choose to let things stress you. Don't say, oh, somebody's stressing me out or this is stress. You choose to let that happen. So choose not to let it happen. Choose to overcome the stress and choose to be a better person. Choose to step up your game and step into 2015. So, guys, I want to thank you all for joining us. All our panelists, Renee Sunday, Klarque Garrison, Allyson Byrd, and for my co-host, Chris Bridges, for joining us today. We're going to have a great 2015. Everyone, God bless you, and have a great end of the year.